SEC season, what we should expect out of LSU and more. If you missed any of that, download, subscribe, rate and review wherever you get your podcast, the Janae and Golick Jr. podcast. And dumb hype for college football together. It feels only right that we should sail off into the literal sunset going on outside me in Maryland Stadium, where I am before the kickoff of West Virginia at Maryland tomorrow at 3:30 on ESPN.
Is anybody else there with you, or do you just have the whole stadium to yourself right now? You're just watching a beautiful sunset fall over the field by yourself, just taking it all in?
Yeah, me and like the op staff setting up around here, but in general, it's been kind of a peaceful night, Amber. I'm not going to lie.
Very pleasant. Maybe you should have a picnic after the show.
That is the kind of energy we need. Let's keep it here right now. We want to be a jolt of energy.
Yeah, the energy level was really high there.
Now we want to keep that same energy going.
Keeping that same energy.
Keep that same energy.
You could just sense that there was a tremendous amount of energy.
With Janae and Golick Jr.
I wonder if they would be weirded out if they just saw me on like a security cam just eating Uncrustables at midfield.
Yeah, like just set yourself up on the 50. Maybe it's try to score a glass of vino from somewhere. I don't really.
See, now we're talking.
Maybe you could Uber Eats to the stadium.
It's all deadly.
Get yourself a full spread.
Why not? You know what? It'd be a hell of a game day here. Keeping that same energy, Amber, though, how about this after a game day here? Now, John Sterling and his radio play-by-play partner, Ricky Ricardo, both called the New York Yankees game at Los Angeles Angels from Yankee Stadium because the radio crews had not presumed traveling as part of the team's COVID-19 protocols. We know there was huge storms going on, the tails of Hurricane Ida making their way to the Northeast, and it ended with John Sterling actually being helped out of a flooding car by his Spanish radio play-by-play announcer, Ricky Ricardo, on Wednesday night after he got stuck trying to drive home from a game. Amber, obviously, we're glad everyone's okay first and foremost and hope that everyone is okay in the Northeast. But that is how a partner is supposed to act right there.
It really is. Now, Ricardo had stayed at the stadium longer than Sterling. Sterling had left the stadium, and Ricardo recognized that Sterling might be in trouble because the stadium was reportedly, like the lobby of the stadium, and I guess the parking lot there was already filling with water, and so he had called him on his way home to make sure that Sterling had gotten home okay, and he had not. And he was, in this situation where he was blocks from his house, and he was in a car that was starting to take on water, and Ricardo drove all the way to him to help him out, to get him out of that flooded car. An unbelievable partner. Would you do that for me? Like, that is some serious radio partnership going on.
Amber, in a heartbeat, I would absolutely save you from that flooding car. I know better than to get myself in trouble here. It's Janae and Golick Jr. We're brought to you by 5 Hour Energy Shots. It's the one when you got to get stuff done. Amber, keeping that same energy, if you're watching our friends at SMU play football this weekend, you may see a new beef kicker out here. 6'8", 232 pounds of kicking madness. He's been booming size 74-yard field goals with size 14 shoes. Brendan Hall is a freak of nature. He came from a town, Springtown, Texas, with a population of 2,600. Didn't have a private kicking coach, played for the Springtown Porcupines. This guy seems like an absolute beauty and something we absolutely need to wrap our arms around this college football season.
6'8", 232 pounds as a freshman kicker. Is there like a workaround with the rules here where if you hit him, it's okay, like no touching the kicker, no roughing the kicker, but it's okay here in this scenario because he's going to be standing upright no matter what happens or what's coming at him in these games?
It's absolutely fair play in that. There's no question. So keep your eyes out for the beef kicker this weekend. Did want to say before we close out the show here that, as you guys may have heard the announcements from ESPN PR, this will be the last day of Janae and Golick Jr. Next week, it will become Chris Canty and Golick Jr. Excited to have Chris on board. We wish Janae could have been here for the last day. You guys have seen she's been busy this summer. The WNBA schedule has been a lot. She's still going to be a part of ESPN's great coverage of so many things. She's an unbelievable teammate. Was so blessed to get to do the show with her, to get to experience what we did last year. They turned the keys over to a couple of youngsters and let us have a ton of fun in this time slot. I love Janae. We're still going to be such great friends. We hope you'll stick with us next week. Thank you to everyone that's helped us this summer, including you, Amber. Thank you so much for all the help. You're going to be a friend around here still, and we're looking forward to it.
I hope so. It's been fun.
Absolutely. Spain and Fitz up next on
JR's Oasis in Yankton feature a nice selection of liquors and wines at very competitive prices. Here's just one example. A 1.75-liter bottle of Black Velvet only $14.99. That's a price that's hard to beat. In addition, you'll find a variety of South Dakota wines, including those from Vermillion. If you're looking for a special spirit that you don't see, ask and JR's will accommodate you. When you're in the mood for a bottle of liquor or wine, stop at JR's Oasis, Highway 50 East, Yankton.
President Biden headed out of Washington today and into areas hammered by Hurricane Ida.
President Biden is traveling to New Orleans, Louisiana today to survey the damage left behind by Hurricane Ida. The president is set to meet with the governor and local officials. He'll also take an aerial tour of some of the hardest hit areas.
ABC's Stephanie Ramos at the White House. The death toll from the storm now at least 61 people. A former Roman Catholic cardinal arraigned this morning in Massachusetts, charged with sexually assaulting a teenager nearly 50 years ago.
In the matter of the Commonwealth versus Theodore McCarrick.
McCarrick was defrocked in 2019 after a Vatican investigation found he took part in the sexual abuse of children and adults. The Labor Department's jobs report is out this morning, showing 235,000 jobs were added in August, well below expectations, and a fraction of the number of jobs added the previous 2 months. This is ABC News.
Deb's constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating kept giving her grief. She talked to her doctor to get some relief. Turns out Deb had irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, which was a start. Saying yes to Linzess helped her do her part.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 6, and it should not be given to children 6 to less than 18. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Legacy of Rock.
The Bridges at Beersford has 2 great tournaments, including the 2-couple alternating scramble tournament on Saturday, September 11th, and the senior 2-man scramble on Tuesday, September 14th. Both tourneys start at 10 a.m. with a shotgun start. Both tournaments include lunch, and there is an 80% cash payback. Again, the 2-couple alternating scramble Saturday, September 11th, and the senior 2-man scramble on Tuesday, September 14th. Carts are available, so call to reserve your spot today at the Bridges at Beersford.
It's a new season. Be ready with a wellness exam from Horizon Healthcare. Whether you dribble, sprint, hike, or spike, a wellness exam is better than your average physical. It considers all your medical history, even social and mental factors, and challenges that could go unnoticed. It covers a lot more and is usually covered by insurance.
Schedule a wellness exam at Horizon Healthcare in Yankton, Elk Point, or Alcester.
Find what you need at C&V Operations Yankton, your local John Deere dealer. Whether you're a property owner, landscaper, or a small-scale farmer, find the equipment you need to get the job done at C&V Operations in Yankton.
Fridays are extra special at your Yankton Papa Murphy's. Get a giant XLNY pizza for just $7 every Friday. Order online, use the drive-thru, or just stop in the lobby. The XLNY pizza, $7 every Friday at Papa Murphy's in Yankton.
World Archery in Yankton this September, and introducing FNBO Archery Fest, September 24th through the 26th at Riverside Park. The FNBO Archery Fest at the park includes the band Brûlé Saturday from 4 to 7 inside the amphitheater. Fireworks sponsored by Elkhorn Valley Bank Saturday evening at 8. Oh, the party is just getting started. Throughout the weekend, there'll be hot air balloon rides, Lewis and Clark reenactors, and the party continues with more live music all weekend long. Beer garden and South Dakota food trucks. Oh, by the way, it's free. Check out the website yankton2021.org/FN FNBO Archery Fest for the full schedule of activities. It's the FNBO Archery Fest at Riverside Park, Friday, September 24th through Sunday, September 26th. A new coach, and this season gets off to a perfect start. Now it's week 2, and the Road Warrior mentality continues. The question is, how much momentum is going to carry over? I'm Heath Dimke, and it's time for Vermillion football back on ESPN Radio and Vermillion streaming. It's Friday Night Lights. Here we go. I say welcome back, as it almost seems like we're beginning a new season, but it's anything but that. We're actually just welcoming back myself when it comes to the overall point, as we're getting you set for Vermillion football here on ESPN Radio. This is the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show just past 6 o'clock, and it's good to be back once again here on the radio waves and also with Vermillion streaming. A lot to unpack, and let's begin, well, going back to last Friday. Heath, what happened? Where were you? The quick and easy story is I knew I was going to be gone. Situations kind of fell apart at the last moment, and we had a couple of guys fill in for us at the very last second, and just unfortunate that I was gone away on business. That being said, I have no more business scheduled on Friday nights. Now, all that matters now is Vermillion football. In fact, just got done with a pregame show for the USD Coyotes. So I switched my papers around here, and now we're ready to go for the Vermillion Tangers. And ready to go after a great victory a week ago for the Vermillion Tangers. A lot of unknowns going into the season. As we know, a new head coach from this past offseason, and that coach was Tom O'Boyle, a common name around the Vermillion area, and a lot of retention when it comes to older coaches, a part of O'Boyle's coaching staff, and it was kind of tabbed going into this season as the good old boys were back together. The question is, was the good old boys, could they bring it into that young man's mentality and switch up an offense that didn't necessarily struggle from a year ago, but just wanting to do something different than the past coach Andy Holman had, and just continue to grow experience. Now, compound that with the quarterback from last year, Charlie Ward, who tore his ACL at the very end of the season. In fact, in the last game, he decided not to come back and play for his senior year. Have to respect the young man's decision. So a lot of question marks around the quarterback. What would head coach Tom O'Boyle be doing? How would Vermillion look? And add that on top of the first 6 games of the season for the Vermillion Tangers. 5 of them are on the road. That's ridiculous to say, including the first 2, as we're here in Chamberlain, South Dakota tonight. Now, we quickly go back to last week against Sisseton. How can you describe getting to a perfect start on the season? You might throw in there, if you took the opening kickoff back to the house, that would be a perfect start, right? That's exactly what Reese Profrock and his special teams did, and the Vermillion Tangers never looked back after that, cruising to a 38-0 victory over the Sisseton Redmen. So a great way to start, and it was very interesting to see how the game kind of progressed, especially in the first couple of quarters. You have to give credit to Vermillion finding their offensive groove in the running game, but maybe that's not necessarily what we're going to continue to see throughout this season when it comes to the Vermillion Tangers on offense. On the defensive side of the football, it was a great game in just taking care of business and not allowing the Redmen offense to get going. They were held under less than 100 yards of total offense. Now, I'm going to pause on that note. We have more to talk about, including that game coming up yet here on the Debbie Profrock Farm Bureau Financial Services pregame show. Vermillion Tanger football is sponsored by our corporate sponsor each and every game. And that is First Dakota National Bank. For all your banking needs, it's First Dakota National Bank in Vermillion. What do we have coming up here on the pregame show? Well, it is jam-packed. And again, this is an hour pregame show, so a lot to get to, including catching up for the first time on air, that is, with head coach O'Boyle. That's coming up a little bit later on here in our pregame show. We'll also be breaking down the Chamberlain Cubs, as well as they had their season opener last week. They fell to Millbank 52-0. Well, as mentioned, talk more about the Sisseton game and more specifically the stats from what we saw for the Vermillion offense and defensive side of the football. And also coming up next here on the pregame show, we'll be taking a look at Vermillion athletics, other athletics besides football, and how the seasons are going there. That is all on the way as we take our first break, as we're back into the pregame show. I'm glad to be back and join with you throughout the season once again. I'm your host, Heath Nimke. All right, it's time for our first time out. When we come back, a look at Vermillion athletics. This is the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show on ESPN 1015 AM 1570, around the world at kvtk.com, and back on Vermillion streaming.
So what do you see in your future? Buying the perfect home with a big oak tree? Watching your child graduate from college? Or finding more time for hobbies during your retirement? Whatever your future holds, make sure you talk with the Farm Bureau Financial Services agent. Together, we'll create a plan that's right for you.
Call Farm Bureau agent Debbie Profrock in Vermillion at 605-624-3011.
It's your future. Let's protect it.
You don't need an illness to need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care physician or provider at Sanford Health. Better health care starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Find your primary care physician or provider at sanfordhealth.org today.
This is the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show here on ESPN 1015 AM 1570, streaming online at kvtk.com, along with our Vermillion streaming services as well. I'm Heath Nimke. It's great to be back once again for another football season. If you are just tuning in, I wasn't here last week. It was unfortunate. Knew a situation that I had to be on a business trip in Wisconsin. Kind of had things lined up and ready to go for last week when it came to the Vermillion streaming services and everything with ESPN, and everything kind of fell apart at the last second. But nonetheless, we had the game, and now we get back into our regular hour pregame format with plenty of action yet to come with the pregame show, including yet to come a conversation with head coach Tom O'Boyle. Looking forward to that conversation each and every week. Coach O'Boyle is such a great guy to sit down and talk to, and loves this football team so much, and it makes you excited as a broadcaster as well. Plus, we'll be taking a look a little bit more at Chamberlain, what happened in week one for them, and what to expect yet tonight in this match between Chamberlain and the Vermillion Tangers. As I mentioned, this is the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show, and all Vermillion Tanger football this season is brought to you by First Dakota National Bank. For all your banking needs, it's First Dakota National Bank in Vermillion. Hey, right now here on our pregame show segment, it's time to take a look at other activities when it comes to high school sports besides just football, including plenty that happened last night in action and also action on this past Tuesday. So here we go. Let's dive right into it. We're going to begin with action when it came to the Sioux Falls Christian Invitational, when it came to golf action for the boys. Now, the host Sioux Falls Christian put 3 golfers in the top 7 to win team honors at their golf invitational. That was held at Spring Creek Golf Course in Harrisburg. Now, the Chargers won with a score of 317. That was 3 better than the Vermillion boys, who shot a 320. West Central was third at 321. So congratulations to the Vermillion boys placing second in that tournament. Elijah Anema shot a 73 to earn the medalist honors, 2 strokes ahead of Vermillion's Trey Hansen, who shot a 75 on the day. But again, Vermillion finished at 320 and second in that invitational against Sioux Falls Christian, which basically saw almost the entire DAC-12 participate in that tournament. In other action from Tuesday night, Lennox held off Vermillion in volleyball by scores of 25-21, 25-14. Vermillion winning the third set 25-21, but Lennox getting the fourth and decisive fourth set 25-22 in DAC-12 action. Danny Highgum posted 9 kills and 16 digs to lead Lennox. It was Claire Doty who led Vermillion with 7 kills and 13 assists. Claire Clemmy finished with 6 kills and 10 digs, along with Kelsey O'Neill. She added 8 digs. That again was on Tuesday, as the volleyball team was back in action once again just yesterday. And they were on the road in South Sioux City, Nebraska. And the unfortunate part is never got any final scores that were recorded from the volleyball team yesterday. So see if we can't track those down. Coming up yet later here on the pregame show or throughout the broadcast. Other activities that were also supposed to be happening yesterday were boys and girls soccer. That got postponed. No makeup date has been decided, and also tennis was postponed yesterday due to the rainy conditions. Otherwise, that is a look at what has been happening with the Vermillion Tangers when it comes to athletics, as we get you set for kickoff here between Chamberlain and the Vermillion Tangers. It is the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take a look more back into what happened against Sisseton and a big 38-0 victory. That's on the way next here on ESPN 101.5 AM 1570 and around the world at kvtk.com, along with Vermillion Streaming.
So what do you see in your future? Buying the perfect home with a big oak tree? Watching your child graduate from college? Or finding more time for hobbies during your retirement? Whatever your future holds, make sure you talk with the Farm Bureau Financial Services agent. Together, we'll create a plan that's right for you.
Call Farm Bureau agent Debbie Profrock in Vermillion at 605-624-3011.
It's your future. Let's protect it.
I'm Jenny Bolig from the Yankton Slumberland. After over a decade of customer service in our store, helping my customers with our free interior design service is still my favorite part of my job. Not all customers feel confident designing their own room. Whether you need help measuring, matching up with new paint or carpet, or have remodeled or built new, we are here to help you understand how to arrange and purchase for your room. Enjoy free design service at the Yankton Slumberland, 2401 Broadway. It's a good life.
We keep rolling along here on Friday night. Get you set for Friday Night Lights. It's week 2 as the Vermillion Tangers are on the road once again to take on the Chamberlain Cubs. Last week, the Vermillion Tangers got the victory 38-0 over Sisseton. And for the Chamberlain Cubs, they opened up their season with the loss 52-0. Right now here on the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show, this is our highlights segment of the show. Now, we should be doing highlights, but since somebody didn't make the road trip to Sisseton last week, I do not have highlights from the game. So that being said, we'll start going to go over what did happen if you missed out on last week's action, and also take a look at the entire action from the state of South Dakota in Class A more specifically, and how teams are shaping up so far. That's right now here on the pregame show. So we go back to it. Last week there was, of course, a lot of unknown of what the season was going to look like, what the offense was going to look like with the new head coach, Tom O'Boyle, taking over and going into the season. He mentioned that he wanted to get into option football, something completely different than what Vermillion did a year ago with Andy Homan and a spread offense. One other kind of note that was made was the starting quarterback situation. Charlie Ward last year tore his ACL the very last game of the season, late in the fourth quarter. He would go on to miss the magical run that was put together by the Vermillion boys basketball team, and Charlie has always expressed that basketball is his number one sport. So he decided that with the option this year and what Coach O'Boyle was looking at, he just didn't want to be a part of the team, and you have to respect Charlie for that decision. So who was going to be the quarterback? And Coach O'Boyle said, you know what, we're not going to make one specific guy the quarterback. We're going to be looking at two different guys, and that included Jack Kratz and Ty Hertz, that both saw spots at the quarterback position against Sisseton. And one other thing Coach O'Boyle mentioned to me was he wanted to be a very balanced football team. Run the option, use play action, and keep it 50-50. Always keep teams guessing. Well, it was anything but that when it came to keeping teams guessing. In fact, Vermillion ran the football 41 different times compared to just 4 times they threw the football. Yes, 41-4. That is not being a balanced offense. However, when it works out, there's nothing to complain about. And Vermillion against Sisseton, they got off to a perfect start, taking the kickoff back right away, getting a touchdown from Reese Profrock. Special teams comes alive. That's the way you would love to start a football game. And then after that, the option always kept Sisseton Redmen guessing. We're able to have consistent scoring to the first, second, and into the third quarter. We saw a lot of the second team in the fourth quarter, a quick moving fourth quarter as well with the running clock. So, I mean, you don't look at maybe the fourth quarter as much, but what you saw from this first half and into the third quarter from the Vermillion Tangers was just a very balanced offense. You saw both quarterbacks come in and run the football nicely, being able to throw it around a little bit. But, I mean, even in the running game, the running back Jeremy Crow, the junior, got most of the duties. He carried the football for 105 yards on 19 carries. Jack Kratz carried the ball for 52 yards. We mentioned Ty Hertz. He carried it for 3 times for 35 yards. I mean, we saw several different guys carry the football for the Vermillion Tangers, and that'll be something to watch to see what they get against the Chamberlain Cubs tonight, if they're able to keep that consistent running game going, or if it will back off a little bit. And then on the flip side of that all, you also have to mention the defense, and it was just another stout defensive performance from a lot of the seniors that we expected to step up and have a great season, including Nick Sorensen, that senior linebacker. I know Coach O'Boyle has been big on him so far in our pregame interviews and talking earlier this season, but just a lot of spread around, that guy's able to contribute to team tackles and making sure they were taking care of their assignments. It's what you love to see, and you really don't look at one specific guy and say, wow, he was the determining factor on defense. It was just an all-around team performance, and it doesn't get much better than that. And you look forward to seeing what they can do going throughout the rest of this season and going more specifically into the Chamberlain Cubs. I know Coach O'Boyle is going to mention, hey, Heath, we're focused one game at a time, one practice at a time. We don't care about what's coming up yet this season, but it does get much more difficult for the Vermillion Tangers. You love to start off 2-0, but then you're finally back at home to take on the Madison Bulldogs, but then you have some of the top teams, including ranked number 2-1 right now in Class A. Canton after Madison on the road. And in fact, Canton on the road begins a 3-game road stretch once again at Canton, at Lenox, who's inside the top 5, at Del Rapids, who's at the top 5. By the way, Madison ranked inside the top 5. West Central, who lost their first game against Lenox in a close victory. Tri-Valley, who is much different than they were a year ago. They just continue to get better and then wrap up the season against Dakota Valley. So this season does not get necessarily any more forgiving when it comes to the Vermillion Tangers and their schedule, but a great way to start things off in that first game for head coach Tom O'Boyle to get the victory over Sisseton 38-0. Speaking of Class A and how things got started last weekend, let's go over that and what's yet to come. We just mentioned the schedule and last week's scores in Class 11A. As we focus in on that, that's what matters for the postseason. A lot of big games, including Belle Fourche took on Sioux Falls Christian. It was Sioux Falls Christian who got the win 42-7. Madison was all over Custer, gained the win 42-0. Mentioned it just a little bit ago. Millbank down Chamberlain 52-0. In a big game at the beginning of the season, it was Canton who got the win over Del Rapids, but expect Del Rapids to be a dominating team yet in Class A. Tri-Valley got the 1-point victory over Dakota Valley, 21-20. Mentioned it, Lenox got the win over West Central, also 21-20. It was Mount Vernon Plankinton who got the win over Lakota Tech, 70-0. And Vermillion got the win over Sisseton Redmen 38-0. This is usually the highlight segment of the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show. But again, since I was not at last week's game and did not have any highlights that I got from the crew last week, we'll make sure we get those and cover it in next week. Taking a look back and hopefully talking about a lot of touchdowns for the Vermillion Tangers. What is yet to come here on the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show? We're still going to have our conversation with head coach Tom O'Boyle. We'll still have the Larry's Heating and Cooling segment feature, and we'll be talking more about the Chamberlain Cubs. That is all on the way as you are listening to Vermillion Tanger Football. It's brought to you all season long by First Dakota National Bank. For all your banking needs, it's First Dakota National Bank in Vermillion. As I mentioned, plenty more yet to come here on the pregame show with ESPN 101.5 AM 1570 along with Vermillion Streaming.
So what do you see in your future? Buying the perfect home with a big oak tree? Watching your child graduate from college? Or finding more time for hobbies during your retirement? Whatever your future holds, make sure you talk with the Farm Bureau Financial Services agent. Together, we'll create a plan that's right for you.
Call Farm Bureau agent Debbie Profrock in Vermillion at 605-624-3011.
It's your future. Let's protect it.
You don't need an illness to need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care physician or provider at Sanford Health. Better health care starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Find your primary care physician or provider at sanfordhealth.org today.
It's ESPN 101.5 AM 1570, online at kvtk.com, along with Vermillion at streaming. This is the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show. And a big thank you to Debbie for being back once again with our pregame show sponsor. Did it last year, and she was excited to join the broadcast once again this year. So make sure for all your financial needs, you check out Debbie Profrock in Vermillion, and excited to have her back a part of our pregame show. What we have now, we still have head coach Tom O'Boyle coming up, but we're going to quickly switch gears. And I caught up on Wednesday with head coach Jeff Rademacher of the Chamberlain Cubs, and we talked about what kind of happened in their first game. A loss against Millbank 52-0 that included 3 different pick six against Millbank and also 2 fumbles and a special teams touchdown. Things just, well, they were really, really bad for Chamberlain. So when you look at that score, 52-0, I believe 35 points combined between the defense and special teams. So Millbank is a good team. Don't get me wrong, but Chamberlain literally shot themselves in the foot and then continued to shoot themselves in the foot. It was not a good situation. But as I mentioned, I catch up with head coach Jeff when we talked about that game and what he expects to see against the Vermillion Tangers tonight. Here he is right now on the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show. Coach, getting ready for the Vermillion Tangers, and I know going into this week you are looking to bounce back after a tough loss against Millbank last week, but going into this season, what were your expectations for your team, and what do you still want to accomplish this year?
You know, we moved up a class this year, so we knew the competition was going to be a lot harder this year. So, you know, really this year we're just going to mainly focus on being competitive and playing hard and leaving it all on the field, and you know, let the chips may land where they may, and you know, if we come out victorious, that's a positive. If we lose, and be a good day for us.
You talk about moving up a class and looking at this schedule when it's handed down by the state. What were your thoughts on it? What scared you the most, and what did you think you could take advantage of?
Well, we definitely can take advantage of a really good competition. I think there's a lot of good teams here that we're playing. And I knew the challenge was coming forth, but yeah, they've got us going kind of all over the state traveling. So that was kind of a disappointment. I mean, we travel all the way from Millbank to Custer, you know, and almost anywhere in between this year. So a lot of traveling miles. But like I said, we're just going one day at a time and looking for our next opponent and go from there.
How difficult, though, is it going to be when it comes to keeping guys focused constantly on the road this season?
Well, in South Dakota, you know, it seems like you got to travel everywhere across the state, you know. But yeah, it's just usually it's, you know, we try to stay focused on the bus ride. You know, we try not to make it a party on the bus and just keep them focused on those long trips and go from there. You know, just preach, you know, good rest and good hydration and making sure they're eating well and so they're alert and focused for the game. Absolutely. And keeping focus now, getting ready for the Vermillion Tangers. We'll focus on the Tangers here in just a moment. But looking back at the Millbank game, a loss of 52-0, what happened in that game? Execution. When we play on their half of the field and we throw the ball away and throw the ball on the ground, and it's tough to win, and when you give up a special teams touchdown, you know, that's kind of demoralizing for the guys, and so it kind of just keep rolling the wrong way. And that's, as you mentioned, it's difficult when the scores just continue to keep on piling up and can't get the offense moving in the right direction. And going into this week, I know the running game was a big emphasis, and it wasn't seen against Millbank. How much have you been working on that in practice this week? A lot. I mean, we really have done a lot of stuff, and we just keep working. I mean, there's like I said, I mean, it was a tough game for us, and the only thing we can go is up from here. So, getting ready now for the Vermillion Tangers, a team that found a victory beginning of the season, 38-0 over Sisseton. What have you seen on film about this double quarterback situation and a team that likes to run the option? Yeah, they do it, and they run it well. I think they're very quick. You know, we got to make sure we maintain the outside. They do run the option very well. They pull that guard and tackle around. They do that really well. They got some big guys up front. So, they look really good on film. How important is it to also execute when it comes to play action and not fully committing to the run and getting fooled on that? I've been teaching the defense, you know, they got their job, they got their assignment, you know, and make sure they complete their assignment and not get bitten on that. On the defensive side of the football for the Vermillion Tangers, they boast a lot of seniors. They can really fly around to the ball. They execute their tackling.
What did you see from the defense that worries you about the Vermillion Tangers?
Well, exactly what you said. You know, they don't make a lot of mistakes. They're around the ball all the time. So we just got to make sure we're holding on to the ball and not putting it on the ground. Because, like you said, they're rallied around the ball really well. But you know, we're gonna do our best to you know, kind of keep them on their toes.
A game at home before you're back on the road once again. What's kind of the message for the guys in trying to get this victory over the Tangers?
Execution. It's really been talking about execution and making sure that we do our job, do our assignments, and do it to the best of our abilities, and you know, do what you're coached to do. You know, if we can do that, then I think it could be a really good game for us.
Once again, that is head coach Jeff Rademacher of the Chamberlain Cubs, as I caught up with him on Wednesday. And we talked about the tough week one for his team and just trying to get refocused, a sophomore quarterback. Still a lot of challenges for this Chamberlain Cubs team, and they're going to continue to progress throughout this season, and they are definitely going to find wins throughout this season. So make sure you keep an eye out on them. Hey, we're going to pause here on the pregame show, and when we come back, we're going to switch up even more gears, and we're going to get you set for an exciting interview. I've talked to him several times. It's the first time I've talked to him on air. That's head coach Tom O'Boyle of the Vermillion Tangers, as he's getting excited for game number 2 of the season and looking for win number 2 on the road. Head coach Tom O'Boyle on the week 1 game against Sisseton and what he expects to see tonight against the Chamberlain Cubs. That's on the way next with Vermillion Streaming.
So what do you see in your future? Buying the perfect home with a big oak tree? Watching your child graduate from college? Or finding more time for hobbies during your retirement? Whatever your future holds, make sure you talk with the Farm Bureau Financial Services agent. Together, we'll create a plan that's right for you.
Call Farm Bureau agent Debbie Profrock in Vermillion at 605-624-3011.
It's your future. Let's protect it.
Hy-Vee makes grocery shopping easy with Hy-Vee Aisles Online. Just order online, schedule a pickup or delivery time, then leave the shopping to us. Download the new Hy-Vee Aisles Online app or go to HyVeeAislesOnline.com. It's easy to create and save grocery lists, shop the sales, and get fuel savers. Plus, with Hy-Vee Aisles Online, pickup is free on orders over $30, and delivery is free with the membership. Save time. Shop online with Hy-Vee Aisles Online.
For Kickoff on Friday Night Lights, this is ESPN 1015 AM 1570, online at kvtk.com, along with our Vermillion Streaming. Great to be back on Vermillion Streaming once again. A lot of confusion over the past couple of years when it came to video services, but again, back on Vermillion Streaming, the home of Vermillion Athletics, and we are getting you set for game number 2 of the football season for the Vermillion Tangers, as they are on the road once again to take on the Chamberlain Cubs after a big victory last week for Vermillion, winning 38-0. And again, the Cubs, they lost 52-0, so they're looking to bounce back coming up against the Vermillion Tangers. It is that time for the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show, where we sit down with head coach Tom O'Boyle and discuss not only what he expects to see from the Chamberlain Cubs, but it was also my first time on air, that I caught up with Coach O'Boyle, and we had a great opportunity to discuss what he wants to see from his team continuing to move forward this year and what the ultimate goal is for the Vermillion Tangers. So without further ado, here he is on the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show. It is head coach Tom O'Boyle's interview. Well, Coach, as we take a look at a lot of action getting ready for Chamberlain, and we're going to talk about the game with Sisseton. We're going to talk about the Chamberlain Cubs, but I want to get to the first question that's been on my mind, as this is the first time I've been able to interview you, and that is, you're taking over a new squad with the Vermillion Tangers, trying to rebrand a team that has struggled the past couple of seasons. What's the ultimate goal for you as a coach, and what has it been like so far at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, that's a great question, Keith. I've in thinking about and anticipating putting in for the game or for the job here, and then ultimately being fortunate enough to receive the offer to do it. You know, a lot of things go through a guy's mind and what you need to do differently and whatnot. And typically you just what has worked here since June 1st is you do a lot of team things. You take the individual out of it. You take the name out. You use the term Tangers. You don't use the word players. Our kids have bought into it. I think our kids understand first and foremost that we have some really gifted athletes. We have some kids that can really do some nice things in the game of football, and we're trying to coach to their strengths, not necessarily do what we know best as a coaching staff, but we have tried to identify what we thought our kids collectively, what their strengths would be and what we could do. And so far, one game in, it's panned out. We did a nice job of running the ball, and I think that's who we are. I think with our personnel leadership on both sides of the O-line, D-line, I think that we are a team that certainly has to establish the run and then take our shots with play-action pass off that. But I think Heath, probably one of the better things that has happened in my career is this staff that we've been able to put together here with Gary Culver, a long time, very successful, tremendous football coach, Dan Grasser, another long time, very successful and winning football coach, and then having Kurt Seibel come back. He's a Vermillion kid and very, very good technician as well, and then with wide receivers being able to hold over Tommy Heisinger, who's also the baseball coach and had great success with kids during the summer playing baseball. So I think that having those guys on board and having kids buy into their strengths as well has paid dividends to us at this point. One game and 2 practices into the season.
Yeah, you talk about what kind of coaching staff you have around you, and that term has been used so often. The good old boys are back together, and so far, I mean, it's a good way to start. You win the first game, but Coach, going off that, I'm not trying to rag on anything that the state did, but they put together probably maybe the 2 easiest teams at the very beginning of the season, and you know how it's going to line up. I mean, you're facing some of the best teams in the state at the later portion of this season. So going off that, how do you make sure you take care of business, winning these first 2 games, but also continue to see that progress as you have Madison and much tougher competition down the road yet?
Well, I don't know the thought of the schedule. You play who the state gives you, and I think probably though the teams that where our name appears on the schedule, they probably think the same thing with hey, this is an easy team. So I think you qualify yourself by trying to be a better football team in each and every Friday night, and then certainly it gets down even farther. You want to be a better football team every time you walk out the practice field. So we will do a very good job of preparing for every team that we play. We will try to expose what we feel will be successful in attacking those schemes or stopping those schemes. And I think you let kids know that if they play hard and they're coached well with technique, they have a shot. And I think that'll be our mantra as we go through the year. I think people have to play Vermillion as well down the road, and I think we will be in that conversation.
Yeah, you talk right there, talking about being in the conversation and changing that mentality that Tangers aren't just an easy W, but a team that you're going to have to fight with. And that's exactly what you want to hear from your coaching staff and the players as well. Let's get more focused into that game about Sisseton. If you want to mention how you can get off to a perfect start, maybe take the kickoff return back for a touchdown, and then be able to just establish the running game. How great did things go in that 38-0 victory over the Red Men?
Well, it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to see kids smiling. A lot of fun to see a great Tanager crowd that traveled the 3 hours up the road to support their sons and friends. So it was everything went well, and then for Reese Profrock to catch the ball at 15, and then we make 2 great trap blocks in the middle of the field and break the opening kickoff to the 21-22 season for a touchdown. I think that's storybook. I don't know that you can it gets any better than that. So we certainly were excited right out the gate, and we did, from there, just were able to run the ball, control the clock. Our defense held the assistant team to less than 50 yards on the game. So, when things like that happen and we're able to play a lot of kids and get a lot of looks at some different guys, and maybe not our starters so much, but number twos who we're still evaluating and trying to find spots to play, to come in for guys that are playing 2 ways. It certainly worked out great on the night.
He's head coach Tom O'Boyle. I'm Heath Nimke. This is the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show. You talk more about your offense. I know you mentioned going into the season that you have 2 quarterbacks who can do a really well job of running the football and also throwing. You also mentioned that you want to be balanced, but coach, running the football 41 times compared to throwing for just 4, that doesn't seem like much of a balance, but was it because of what Sisseton gave you that we saw the run game come together so well?
Right, and I'm not sure that people that know me would think that you have those stats right. I think that there's an awful lot of my peers that I've coached with and against over the years know that I prefer to air it out and do those type of things. But the strength of this team is what it is, and so running the ball 41 times and being able to score and control clock and let people rest and sub guys in was just a lot of fun. I think that I think this Chamberlain game coming up is going to be a very similar game, but I think there's 2 teams that have pretty much the same philosophy. I think we're going to see a big physical football team that wants to handle people up front, move the ball out of the I formation, or at least that's what they played last week against their opponents. So it's kind of a spy versus spy type deal, making adjustments and moving kids around. But the kids up front did a heck of a job on the night, and cleared the path for 241 yards. And I thought we left, Heath, I thought we left at least 150 yards more out there with just not timely blocks downfield or a back misreading something or just not picking our knees up and getting it to the house. So we're working on those things this week. We'd like to be more of an explosive team. We'd like to have more plays of 20 yards and more, and those are the things we're talking about and trying to make sure we do a good job of this week.
Well, you mentioned it, Coach O'Boyle, and that's always be successful and finish things off even when you win 38-0. You alluded it to earlier in the interview. Your defense had a phenomenal game as well. What did you like the most from them against Sisseton?
The fact that we tackled well. We certainly did a nice job of coming up and wrapping up and getting more than one hat to the football. So I think that anytime as a coach, you see a lot of kids getting to the football and getting there in the correct way and with their heads up and they're being safe. That was very fulfilling to see, and we did have a couple breaks that fortunately Sisseton didn't catch, and so we have things to work on too. But there are always opportunities for improvement after football games, and we know we played well. Stats tell us that, but were we the best football team we can be? I think we're still a long ways from that. So we'll continue to get after it, and we use the old Vince Lombardi statement: we're chasing perfection. So that's we know that it's hard and probably never will attain it, but we'll sure look for ways to do that.
Joined with head coach Tom O'Boyle of the Vermillion Tangers, as this is the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Profrock pregame show. I'm Heath Nimke. Well, Coach, it's time for the next road trip. Kind of going to be that way for the first few games of the season. In fact, 5 of the 6 first games for you are on the road. You travel to Chamberlain, who took a loss in their first game of the season. What have you seen from the Cubs, and what are you looking to exploit on the offensive side of the football?
Very big team, very physical, have some experience back in key spots where they do things well. I know they the score last week doesn't indicate the type of football they were. They shot themselves in the foot, I think, 4 times at least offensively, either with giving up touchdowns or giving up bad field position. So, we're going to see a team that wants to be physical and wants to come in and kind of rough you up a little bit. So we're retooling our armor up front to take advantage of where we think things we can do and establish and hang our hat on.
On the defensive side of the ball, you mentioned Chamberlain had some big turnovers, 4 turnovers in their football game against Millbank where they lost 52-0. How important have you been working on that in practice this week to force more turnovers with your defense?
Well, it's about the 3 T's. It's technique, tackling, and takeaways, and we talk about that. And so, there's an art of getting to the football, and there's an art of being technique sound when you are tackling and then trying to get the ball out. Now, whether that's on the run game, that's what you do, but we feel like we have some very good defensive backs that do a good job of breaking on the football, and it's a matter of just having their eyes in the right spot and not trying to read into the backfield too much, but reading receiver number 1 or number 2, depending on the coverage we're in, and staying sound over the top. I think you have to have coverage over the top with your free safety, and if something would bust or whatnot, you got a fence there, so to speak, to get it tackled and regroup and do a better job the next 3 downs.
Coach, I know this is more of a question to ask at the very beginning of the season, but as the fans know, this is really our first conversation we've had together on air. So to wrap up this interview, what's the big message that you want to spread to the Vermillion faithful and what you would like to see from this Tangers squad throughout the season and where you want to be at the end of the year?
Well, certainly we want to be successful each and every Friday night. We want to, more so than that, we want to be successful every Monday through Thursday in our preparation of that. There are so many things out there for kids these days to watch and get better with, and the program Huddle is amazing, and it allows kids to watch themselves in their own game film. It allows them to watch their opponent. So, we just want to be efficient. We want to be I know it's very cliche, Heath, but it is what it is. We want to be a better football team every Friday night. We want to be on the winning side of the scoreboard every Friday night. Wins are important. That's why this job was open, and things and get into the conversation. Then you look at playing late October, early November football. So, all those things are capable, and all those things are possible if you just get better each and every day and play your technique and keep giving the ball back to the offense, and the offense keep giving the ball back to the kickoff team. So there's a lot of things that go hand in hand to be successful, and it's all about being prepared.
Being prepared in the winner's mentality, honestly, Coach, and that's great to see where you have the team already going into week 2 and getting ready for the Chamberlain Cubs. Again, the Vermillion Tangers got the victory last week against Sisseton, 38-0, and are looking to make it 2-0 on the road to begin the season. Coach, once again, thanks for catching up with me here on the Farm Bureau Financial Services Debbie Pro Pre-Game show. You know what? Let's actually take a break, and when we come back, we'll take one last look at this matchup, and we'll talk more about the Larry's heating and cooling feature. What is heating up and what is cooling off? The cooling off segment might be a little hard to talk about because things were clicking everywhere. That's on the way next here on the Pre-Game show on ESPN 101.5 AM 1570 around the world at kvtk.com along with Vermillion Streaming. We're back next.
So what do you see in your future? Buying the perfect home with a big oak tree? Watching your child graduate from college? Or finding more time for hobbies during your retirement? Whatever your future holds, make sure you talk with the Farm Bureau Financial Services agent. Together, we'll create a plan that's right for you.
Call Farm Bureau agent Debbie Profrock in Vermillion at 605-624-3011.
It's your future. Let's protect it.
You couldn't always play 9 holes while enjoying the view of the Lewis and Clark. or race the kids around an outdoor go-kart track. Every timeless institution, tradition, and thriving business was started somewhere by someone who had a dream and the passion to make it happen first. What will be your South Dakota first? Visit firstdakota.com/first. Member FDIC.
Game time is approaching. Welcome back here to ESPN 101.5 AM 1570, along with our Vermillion streaming service as well for this evening, as we are getting you set for kickoff between the Vermillion Tangers and the Chamberlain Cubs. We just got done catching up with head coach Tom O'Boyle, looking to get off to a better start. Already 1-0 on his coaching debut last week, getting the win over Sisseton 38-0, and now looking to go into T-Week, homecoming week at 2-0. Good chance that could happen for the Vermillion Tangers as well. All right, before we get you to kickoff, I have to tell you actually one funny story that happened last night, and that's our pregame sponsor, Farm Bureau Financial Services, Debbie Profrock. Talked to Debbie several times, but it wasn't until last night at the VCDC banquet that we met for the first time. And I want to say a big thank you to Debbie for sponsoring our pregame show, and thank you to all of our sponsors who allow me to travel all around the state of South Dakota to cover varsity boys and girls basketball, along with the football season as well. All right, let's get into our Larry's Heating and Cooling segment. It's our what's heating up and what's cooling off. And I've been struggling a little bit with the cooling off process, because when you look at the game against Sisseton, there was nothing that was cooling off for the Vermillion Tangers. They were clicking on all cylinders, and you just hope that we have to continue to avoid what's cooling off. So that being said, there's nothing that I really would like to mention. What's heating up? What's heating up is what I would like to see more of this run game. It came together really nicely and looked to have that consistency. And so much of this offense is all about the run game. And if you can start getting that option going, it allows the play action to come more into play, and you start to look for those passes downfield. Coach O'Boyle has said it, and everyone knows it. He is a 50-50 guy. He does like to air out the football, but throwing it just 5 times against Sisseton compared to 41 rushes a week ago, something that doesn't necessarily need to change if the run game is working, but something that you would like just to continue to incorporate some play action. All right, kickoff is coming up here in just a moment, but while we have a chance, let's take a look at our starting lineups for both the Vermillion Tangers and the Chamberlain Cubs. We'll take a look at the Chamberlain Cubs offense and defense first, and starting things off with their offense, it'll be Cruz Solik, who is going to be the quarterback for tonight for the Chamberlain Cubs. Solik had just 71 passing yards a week ago against Millbank. Also had a couple fumbles and 3 pick-sixes last week, so looking to turn it around. He's just a sophomore quarterback and continues to learn. The big fullback to watch for them tonight will be number 44, Ty Grasser, the 6'1", 180 junior, receiving yards out of the backfield as well. And the other featured back will be number 42, Noah Hutchmaker for the Chamberlain Cubs. Their wide receiver crew will include number 6, Devin Anderson, the 5'9", 135 sophomore, number 21, Sawyer Dawson, another sophomore, and finally number 81, the senior Thomas Powell. Along the offensive line in numerical order will be number 55, David Newton, the 6'6", 210 senior. Number 58, Wyatt Powers, the 6', 225 senior. Number 63, Zach Toring, the 6', 245 senior. Number 71, Peyton Hora, the 6', 225 sophomore. And also number 72, Cannon Burkhardt, the 6'6", 310 sophomore for the Chamberlain Cubs. And again, a very young team for the Cubs as well on offense and as defense. And when looking at the Chamberlain Cubs defense, 8 out of the 11 players are two-way starters. As we take a look at the defensive line, number 34, Swade Reese. He is a one-way player. Number 58, Wyatt Powers, as we mentioned. 63, Zach Toring is also a two-way player. And another new guy to the defensive line will be number 66, Brooks Swanson. For the linebacking crew for the Cubs will be number 55, David Newton, number 42, Noah Hutchmaker, and also number 81, Thomas Powell. And then the Cubs will be playing with 4 defensive backs, including number 6, Devin Anderson, number 21, Sawyer Donovan, number 12, Cody Stein, and number 44, Ty Grasser. And that's a look at the Chamberlain Cubs as we get you set for kickoff tonight. All right, get ready, Tanger fans. Here is your starting lineups for offense and defense. I'm going to pull the old switcheroo, and we're going to start on the defensive side. What are we looking at for tonight? Well, along the defensive line, it will be number 52, Zach Brady. Playing next to him is 55, Carter Skolsberg. After that, along the defensive line, 73, Paul Praster, and finally, number 78, Nate Fairholm. The linebacking crew is very similar to what we saw last year, including number 56, Nick Sorensen, and also number 9, Jack Kratz. For the Sorensen, number 11, Zone Robinson, and also number 23, Reese Profrock. And for your Vermillion Tangers, the starting offense. Let's take a look at that as we begin with the offensive line. It'll be number 55, Carter Skolsberg. Earlier, I didn't mention the 6'4", 205 junior. 52, Zach Brady, one of the offensive guards, the 6'4", 280 senior. The center tonight is number 75, Will Fairholm, the 5'11", 240 senior. Playing right next to him is his brother, 78, Nate Fairholm, the 6'1", 230 senior. And then finally, Nick Sorensen is the other offensive tackle. The wide receiver crew for tonight includes Connor Larson, Clayton Sorensen, who had a reception against Sisseton, just one for 27 yards and a touchdown. Zone Robinson and also Reese Profrock, both looking to get their first catches of the night. The running back and the starting position will be number 25, Jeremy Crow, the 6', 170 junior. Had 19 carries against Sisseton for 105 yards. Also had one reception for 18 yards and a touchdown. And we'll see 2 different quarterbacks that will play throughout the night, but getting the start as usual is that senior, number 9, Jack Kratz, the 6'2", 175 senior. The other night against Sisseton, he went 2 of 3 in the passing game for 2 touchdowns. That's pretty good. 45 yards. He also had 7 carries for 52 yards and a touchdown. All right, Tanger fans, are you ready to go? Kickoff is moments away. We're going to pause one final time, and when we come back, we get you set for the opening kickoff between the Chamberlain Cubs and the Vermillion Tangers. That's on the way here on ESPN 1015 AM 1570, Vermillion streaming and around the world at kvtk.com.
So what do you see in your future? Buying the perfect home with a big oak tree? Watching your child graduate from college? Or finding more time for hobbies during your retirement? Whatever your future holds, make sure you talk with the Farm Bureau Financial Services agent. Together, we'll create a plan that's right for you.
Call Farm Bureau agent Debbie Profrock in Vermillion at 605-624-3011.
It's your future. Let's protect it.
All right, here we go. It is game time between the Vermillion Tangers and the Chamberlain Cubs as we get set to kick off week number 2 of high school football here on ESPN 1015 AM 1570. And we begin right away as the Chamberlain Cubs will kick it deep to the Vermillion Tangers. It'll be fielded about the 20-yard line by Reese Profrock. Finds some space up the middle, keeps his feet turning and past the 40 and finally tackled down about the 43-yard line. And that is where the Vermillion Tangers will take over 1st and 10 this evening. Again, I'm your host, Heath Nimke, play-by-play, and also going to be running the camera as well tonight. A little bit different of a scene for me. Usually I just have papers in front of my face, have to worry only about radio, but working with the camera, working with radio as well. If I get a little bit of out of focus on the video stream tonight, just please be patient with me, as again, it's a little bit different of a setup than what I'm used to. We get into our first play, twins to either side. It will be Jack Kratz, the quarterback, with Crow off to his right side in shotgun formation. It's a quick pass over to the near side. It's Reese Profrock who catches it at the 49, keeps his feet turning, and it takes a
crowd of Cubs that take him down just past the 50. It's a pickup of about 8 yards, actually give him 9, and it'll bring up a manageable 2nd down and 1. Again, also, we'll have a little bit of a trivia question coming up here for you in just a moment, as this one's a tough one. Got this one from Coach Culver. Twins to either side. This is the usual formation. Finally, Jeremy Crow breaks off to the left side of the quarterback, Jack Kratz. Kratz, the shotgun formation, quickly looks to pass once again, and it's caught just past the 1st down. Nice catch there by the Tangers, and on the reception is Connor Larson. So quickly, the Tangers spread it out to 2 different wide receivers, 2 plays, and it is a 1st down. Move the chains just past the 45-yard line, down to about the 44. We're less than a minute into it. In fact, 11:05. First quarter, scoreless between the Vermillion Tangers and the Chamberlain Cubs, which for the Tanger fans, may remember that a week ago, it was already 6-0 leading over the Sisseton Redmen with the opening kickoff taken back to the house by Reese Profrock. Speaking of Profrock, he's now in motion, moving from right to left. They're going to hand it off to Jeremy Crow, and Crow just continues to follow his blockers, powers past the 30-yard line and down to the 26. What a great job by the offensive line of the Vermillion Tangers just to open up space, and then Jeremy Crow being patient with the blocks in front of him and just follows the big guys to a 1st down and more. A pickup of 16 yards. Another 1st down for the Vermillion Tangers as they're quickly moving down the football field. Twins to either side, 10-14 first quarter. It'll be Crow off to the left side. Kratz looks to pass once again, quickly over to Reese Profrock, and Profrock, the gloves, can't hold on to it. It's an incompletion, but quickly we're already seeing Jack Kratz and the Vermillion Tangers come out and slinging the football. And again, this is what we want to see a little bit more with this Vermillion Tangers. Something we didn't see as much against Sisseton is kind of that run pass, take what the defense is giving you and never let them kind of get settled into what they think is going to come next. That's what it's all about with the option and putting 2 wide receivers off to each side either time. This time it'll be pistol formation. Crow will move to the right side. And now 1 in motion and a timeout by head coach O'Boyle. As Coach O'Boyle looks frustrated on the far sideline. Something else you will always see Coach O'Boyle do is hold a football in his hand. All right, we're going to step aside as you're listening to Tanger Football here on ESPN 101.5 AM 1570. We're back in 30 seconds.
When did your dream home become just that, a dream? Why? Well, it's time to make it a reality with AMS Building Systems. Locally owned and operated in Vermillion, AMS can make that vision in your head a reality. From the first steps of designing to the last screw, your dream is closer than you think. Check out amsbuilding.com or stop by, because the first step to your dream is in Vermillion.
392.
It's 2nd down and 10. Ball at the 27-yard line after a drop pass by Reese Profrock. Now we're going to see trips off to the right side of the field. The lone wide receiver, Zone Robinson, off to the left. Crow gets next to Kratz. Kratz fakes the pass and will hand off to Crow, but he's going to get bottled up right about the 25-yard line. A couple guys giving high fives there as a couple Cubs in there on the tackle as the lane was open but closed down quickly by the red jerseys. So after several plays right away for the Vermillion Tangers, have them moving in the right direction. The past 2 have been an incompletion, and a pickup of 2 yards brings up 3rd and 8. Ball at the 26-yard line, 9:40, and the clock continues to tick here in the first quarter. Break offense once again, or I should say break the huddle. 3 wide receivers off to the left, 1 wide receiver off to the near side. Pistol formation this time will be Jack Kratz. Takes the snap. He's going to fake the handoff to nobody, keep it himself. I don't know if that might have been a design. I think Jeremy Crow should have came in to take that fake handoff. Nonetheless, Kratz just has to power forward by himself, gets past the 25, down to about the 23-yard line. It's going to bring up a 4th and 6. They call this a long 6. Vermillion Tangers will keep the offense out here looking for a 1st down. Just past 3 minutes gone already in this first quarter. Still scoreless between the Vermillion Tangers and the Chamberlain Cubs. 3 wide receivers split to the far side. Shotgun formation, Jack Kratz. Crowd starting to get loud for Chamberlain. Kratz scrambles over to his left side, continues to keep his eyes downfield, makes the pass at the chains. It's going to be a picked up first down, and Vermillion keeps the chains moving. It's Connor Larson on the reception. Larson, a heads-up play, knowing where he needed to get to the first down. He went right to the chains and then stood there. Kratz kept his eyes downfield, looking at 3 different guys to pass to, and finally clicked it over to Connor Larson. And Connor Larson, coming into tonight's ball game, didn't have any receptions against the Sisseton Redmen, has now picked up 2, including another first down. The Tangers now inside the red zone, down to the 15-yard line. 3 wide receivers split off the far side. It's going to be a fake handoff. It's going to be keeping it himself is Jack Kratz. He keeps the feet moving down to the pylon. What's the signal? It's in there. Touchdown, Vermillion Tangers. 8:07 first quarter. Jack Kratz on the 15-yard scamper, and the Tangers strike first here in Chamberlain, leading it 6-0 over the Chamberlain Cubs. Great fake to Jeremy Crow by Jack Kratz. Kept it himself and was able to just bounce it all the way to the outside and stretch it for the pylon and get the touchdown. Now Vermillion, they have a kicking game, but they will go for 2 most of the time. They might even split it a little bit 50-50. We'll just see how Tom O'Boyle is feeling throughout the night. But again, Tangers going for 2, leading it 6-0, 8:07. 2-point conversion. It's going to be a handoff to Jeremy Crow. Just heads into the pile, and is Crow in? Hey, they say no signal there. They say yes. Eventually, he punches his way in for the 2-point conversion, and the Vermillion Tangers, with 8:07 in the first quarter, lead it 8-0 over the Chamberlain Cubs. You're listening to Vermillion Tanger football, presented by First Dakota National Bank on ESPN, along with Vermillion Streaming. We're back in 60 seconds.
Tangers are great at flying out of the way to miss your car. Deer and other drivers are not. If you're in any kind of accident, bring your vehicle to Blaine's Body Shop in Vermillion. We repair your vehicle to pre-accident condition and handle the entire process from start to finish, including an accurate estimate and dealing with the insurance adjuster. So good luck to the Tangers, and if you're in an accident, bring your vehicle to
Blaine's Body Shop. Blaine's Body Shop. Automotive collision repair.
Enter football season.
Need a new set of tires? Look to Carlson's Body Shop in Beersford. How about some accessories like WeatherTech floor mats, access roll-up truck covers, bed liners, remote car starters, and thousands of other products. Hey, you can look at everything at your convenience online too at carlsonsbodyshop.com. No wonder the song says,
Bring it down to Carlson's Body Shop, your complete car care center.
Back in Chamberlain, just missed the kickoff from the Vermillion Tangers. It goes out of bounds right about the 39-yard line. So a discussion right here along the Chamberlain sideline. Where do they want to take the football? Or I don't know what they're discussing. They should just take it right there at the 39 and get underway, instead of being at the 35, I believe it is. And they still have yet to get the ball set, and now Chamberlain is ready to go here. So they're going to actually tack on another 5 yards to it and put it down at the 44-yard line. And that is where the Chamberlain Cubs will take over 1st and 10 on their first offensive possession of the night, trailing 8-0 against the Vermillion Tangers. Chamberlain Cubs ready to go. They'll split 2 off the far side and 2 to the near side. Back to pass, looking downfield. They want the big pass, and they get it. It's the Chamberlain Cubs down all the way in for a touchdown. It's one play, and the Chamberlain Cubs strike immediately into that far corner. It's a big play that they got exactly what they were looking for. And it's the first time, this is the 6th all-time meeting between the Vermillion Tangers and the Chamberlain Cubs, and it's the first time ever that the Chamberlain Cubs have scored on the Vermillion Tangers. And now they'll be on to kick the extra point. Attempt is up, and it's going to be blocked in there by the quarterback and linebacker, Jack Kratz. No good. And it's quickly the Chamberlain Cubs. One play, answer back. Missed extra point. They trail it to the Vermillion Tangers at 8-6. You're listening to Tanger Football, presented by First Dakota National Bank. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Whether you're in the market to purchase a new home, or your family is growing and you need to sell your existing home, or you're a student moving to an apartment, Dakota Realty and Property Management has home listings for families as well as apartments. Being locally owned and with over 150 years of combined experience, they have the connections to find the home that will fit you. Go to Dakota Realty and Property Management at 125 East Cherry Street, Vermillion, because they like what they do and they will work for you. Dakota Realty is a proud supporter of Vermillion Athletics.
Association. Considering a new roof, you want to put your roof in the hands of Dave's Roofing. Dave's Roofing specializes in residential roofing and has over 10 years of experience. Dave's Roofing covers any job from a 60 to 80 mile radius of Sioux City and has a 10-man crew that completes most jobs in one day. Dave's Roofing will make sure the cleanup job is done right afterwards too. And the products installed are impact rated and eligible for homeowners insurance discounts. Look up Dave's Roofing on Facebook and check out the work that's been done in customer
Back here in Chamberlain as the Cubs have one play strike immediately, but it's the Vermillion Tangers who still lead it 8-6 as we're back in the kickoff, and Tanger is upended. That is Zone Robinson who gets upended at the 30-yard line, and the Vermillion Tangers will take over there 1st and 10. The first offensive drive for the Vermillion Tangers put together nicely, including going for it on 4th and 6 and picking up on a pass play from Jack Kratz over to Connor Larson and eventually getting a 15-yard touchdown scamper was Jack Kratz to get the touchdown, go for the 2 and get it. That's how the Vermillion Tangers lead it right now on the Vermillion Medical Clinic scoreboard. Back at it once again. Quarterback this time will be Jack Kratz. He'll keep it on the end around himself and jet off to the far left side, eventually cutting it upfield past the 30, getting cut down about the 33-yard line. A gain of 3 yards will bring up 2nd and 7 for the Vermillion Tangers. As I mentioned, be patient with me tonight as I am doing kind of everything when it comes to the scores, running camera, and trying to keep everything going with radio as well. 3 wide receivers to the near side, 1 split off to the far side. Kratz, the quarterback, back to pass, pump fakes, and now is just going to take off up the middle. He fooled a couple Cubs at the defensive line and then was taken down inside the linebacking area and had his helmet ripped off. A flag comes down at the 30-yard line, which would be almost an indication of a hold on the Vermillion Tangers after Jack Kratz lost his helmet being taken down. We'll see what the call is from the official here. Official has made no call. They're getting confirmation, bring up 2nd down, but it looks like there's bobbing their head yes to a hold on the Vermillion Tangers. So they're sorting everything out and getting ready to move the Vermillion Tangers backwards. And this comes when Jack Kratz gave the pump fake and then found a little bit of space past his offensive line. Or no, they're going to call it an illegal chop block is what happened. And that comes in the confusion of when Jack Kratz took off and scrambled. So it's going to move Vermillion all the way back to the 15-yard line. So it happened at the 30. It's a loss of 15 yards from that spot. And it'll bring up 2nd and 25. Ball at the 15, 7-13 first quarter. The Vermillion Tangers lead it 8-6 over the Chamberlain Cubs. Hope to have the full crew back to next week. Have our first home game before back on the road 3 more times, then wrap up 3 games inside the Dakota Dome. 2 wide receivers split to the near side, 2 wide receivers split to the far side. 1 in motion is Larson. It's going to be a handoff right up the middle to Jeremy Crow, trying to just create a little bit of space. Picks up about 5 yards or so, so we'll bring up 3rd down and a country mile. 3rd and 20. Ball at the 20-yard line. You have to see probably a pass here from the Vermillion Tangers as Jack Kratz runs over to Coach O'Boyle, get the call in, bring it into his team. What formation are they going to come out? They're going to bring trips to the wide side, which is that right side of the football field, one over to the left. Crow is going to find himself positioned on the left side of the field as well. Shotgun formation for Kratz. Takes the snap, and before able to get underway, looks going to have a penalty. Is it going to be offsides on the Vermillion Tangers? It looks like it will be. So now move the Tangers back to the 15, or was it offsides? Offsides on the Chamberlain Cubs, I'm sorry. So offsides on the Cubs, give Tangers a free 5 yards, bring up 3rd down and 15, move the ball up to the 26-yard line. A little bit more manageable, you could say, but still a long ways to go for a 1st down, and now we're hearing more whistles on the field, and we're going to get a timeout now from the Chamberlain Cubs. So we'll pause and take the timeout with them. You're listening to Vermillion Tanger football presented by First Dakota National Bank on ESPN and KVTK.com along with Vermillion Streaming. We're back in 30 seconds.
State purpose of visit.
Well, our tractor's going to kick the bucket this year.
Searching internet for new bucket.
I don't need a bucket.
Provide bucket color preference. Red, yellow, taupe, magenta. Oh, wait. They are out of magenta.
Robots don't know you. We do.
I can do a quote on a new one.
With us, getting the right coverage starts with a conversation. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Contact Farm Bureau Agent Debbie Profrock in Vermillion at 605-624-3011.
6:09, first quarter. Vermillion Tangers lead at 8-6 over the Chamberlain Cubs. Big thank you to our sponsors once again this season for making this Tanger broadcast happen. In Chamberlain, South Dakota, play-by-play, video camera, Heath Nimke tonight. 3 wide receivers split to the near side, one off to the far side, and now guys half taking off the field, the other half just standing straight up. A penalty flag along the near sideline. Is it going to be on the Chamberlain Cubs once again? And we'll see. The official comes in and is going to say encroachment on the Chamberlain Cubs. So it's gone from 3rd and 20, now down to 3rd and 10 on back-to-back 5-yard penalties on the Chamberlain Cubs. So what seemed like a country mile, it just got to a country lane. The Tangers will huddle up once again. A little bit of confusion from the Chamberlain Cubs. Again, the Cubs in their all red uniforms and white helmets. The Tangers in their away jerseys, white uniforms with the numbers and letters that are in red with the Tanger logo on the helmet. 3 wide receivers once again to the near side. Kratz in shotgun formation, takes the snap, pump fakes once. He's looking for the home run ball, and it's just past the outstretched hands of Sheffield. He was trying to make the play, but it was just a little too far from Jack Kratz. Nicely covered as well by the Chamberlain Cubs. And now a couple guys will come in and out, and it looks like head coach Tom O'Boyle is going to have to punt it away. Tangers at their own 21-yard line. As not quite going deep into punt formation, it looks like that is Jack Kratz who is going either side, and Chamberlain is lined up in a normal punt formation, which left wide receivers to either side, both wide open. So if a fake was going to happen, that was a perfect opportunity, but Chamberlain stops it before it happens. We'll step aside and take the timeout with them. You're listening to Tanger Football on ESPN and Vermillion Streaming. We're back in 30 seconds.
Most new systems today, it's important to remember to maintain the warranty. You need to show proof of service. Things that you can expect from Larry's Heating and Cooling Comfort Care Club are prompt, timely service, 2 maintenances, and respect. If you ever have an issue, from Lennox to Carrier and everything in between, we're there for you. For any inquiries about our pricing, feel free to call us at 1-800-491-9461. Anytime, any day.
Todd's Electric. Go Tangers.
6:03 first quarter. Vermillion on 4th down and 10. They are going to spread out their punt team to kind of make it almost look like a fake if they want to go for it. Jack Kratz is going to catch it and punt it away high up into the air. Chamberlain Cubs call fair catch, and it was almost dropped there, but finally covering it on the ground was Sawyer Donovan for the Chamberlain Cubs. And the second drive for the Vermillion Tangers comes up empty. In fact, really no movement of the football. And now the Chamberlain Cubs will come out for just their second play of offense here in the first quarter, as the first play was a home run ball for a touchdown. We'll see if they can't make that happen once again. And that was a great performance from Cruz Solik, coming out and get that touchdown right away after he had 3 pick sixes against Millbank last week. Chamberlain Cubs take over at their 36-yard line, 1st and 10, 5:57 first quarter. Again, Vermillion 8, Chamberlain Cubs 6. It's going to be Cruz Solik, who's in shotgun formation, now puts one in motion, looking to make the quick pass. School football, so if your knee is on the ground, the play is immediately dead. Don't get that confused with the NFL. The NFL, they can keep going until they're touched down. But high school, if your knee is on the ground, the play is over. And the refs try to blow that dead as quickly as possible to avoid any extra contact and any injuries as well. And by the way, that pass was a loss of 2 yards, so brings up now 2nd and 12, ball at the 34-yard line. 2 wide receivers split to either side for the Chamberlain Cubs. Solik, the sophomore quarterback, had 71 passing yards against the Millbank Bulldogs last week. Looking back to pass. Now he's going to scramble. Continues to move around in the backfield. All the way to the far side. Looking downfield. And that one's going to be just thrown out of bounds. This is something the Chamberlain Cubs want to do, is go for the home run ball as much as they can. Now it worked out to begin the football game. We mentioned, if you're just tuning in, the first play for the Chamberlain Cubs was a pass right over the middle, a missed tackle, and it was taken to the house on a 62-yard touchdown pass that got the Chamberlain Cubs on the scoreboard. 8-6, 5:19, first quarter. It's 3rd down and 12. Chamberlain Cubs will split 3 off to the near side, 3 off to the near side and 1 to the far side. Lost that other one. Donovan next to the official. Back to pass once again. Solik has pressure. He's looking to go deep. He just throws it up in the air, and it's going to be picked off. Picked off at the 40-yard line. It was tipped around in the air, and it's the linebacker, Jeremy Crow, who comes up with the interception. So the home run ball this time was just tossed up. It was a 50-50 game, tipped around twice, and in the end, it's Jeremy Crow who comes down with the interception, and the Vermillion Tangers will take over 1st and 10, ball at the 41-yard line, 5:11 first quarter, holding on to a 2-point lead. Jack Kratz, once again, is the quarterback. Jeremy Crow, the running back. 3 wide receivers split to the far side. To the near side, by himself, is Clayton Sorensen. And this time it's going to be a handoff to Jeremy Crow, right up to the 45-yard line or so. Did he stretch far enough for the 46? 45 and a half, let's call it. A gain of 4 yards, and we'll bring up 2nd down and 6. Was said, trying to go for a little bit more balance for the Vermillion Tangers compared to what we saw against the Sisseton Redmen last week, and that definitely has been the situation. 3 wide receivers split to the far side, 1 to the near side. Shotgun formation, standing at the 40-yard line is Jack Kratz. He's going to fake the handoff and then just follow Jeremy Crow. Here goes Jack Kratz. He makes one miss, down to the 30, down to the 20. It's Jack Kratz who is going to be finally spun out of bounds right about the 10-yard line. Jack Kratz scampers for a 54-yard run and a big 1st and goal upcoming for the Vermillion Tangers. Jeremy Crow even just getting past the line of scrimmage got spun around. He didn't know where his quarterback even went. Kratz makes one miss at the 31, and a talented, speedy quarterback, Jack Kratz, brings up 1st and goal for the Vermillion Tangers with 4:29 remaining in the first quarter. 3 wide receivers to the near side and 1 to the far side. It's going to be handoff to Jeremy Crow. And this one is going to be run just slightly off the left hash, a gain of about 3 or 4. I'm going to keep it zoomed in here on the camera. I'll let you know that far wide receiver, and if They scramble this way. We'll move the camera that way as well. 4:09, first quarter. Great to have you along here on ESPN Radio. Don't forget, if you are listening on radio and going, Heath, we were talking about a camera, you can find this game currently on YouTube at Vermillion Streaming. 3 wide receiver split, now 1 in motion. You're going to bring 4 to this far side, and it's going to be a fake handoff. Jack Kratz keeps it himself, lurches in. Is he in? They give the signal, and they say just short. His knee was down before he was able to stretch the football. In fact, he was about a yard, maybe 2 short, so bring up 3rd and goal. Ball at the 2-yard line, 3:30 and ticking. Vermillion leads it 8-6 over the Chamberlain Cubs. 2 wide receivers. This time, Kratz is going to go underneath center. He's just going to try to power his way forward. The offensive line gets a push, and it's going to be a touchdown for the Vermillion Tangers on the quarterback keeper. Got a little confused there, trying to watch the action from the camera, and nobody put their hands up except the one official who was outside of my camera vision. But nonetheless, the Tangers are on the scoreboard, and they now lead it 14-6 over the Chamberlain Cubs. Can stretch it now to a 2-possession game as they're going to attempt the 2-point conversion. 1 in motion. Kratz is back underneath center once again. He's going to keep it himself and just try to lurch. He spiked the ball to the ground as he loses it this time. The 2-point conversion is no good, but the Vermillion Tangers host an 8-point lead over the Chamberlain Cubs. The score now 14-6 with 3:18 remaining in the first quarter. You're listening to Tanger Football presented by First Dakota National Bank on ESPN Radio and Vermillion Streaming. We'll be back in 60 seconds here on ESPN and Vermillion Streaming.
Midwest Ready Mix Equipment is your locally owned and operated ready mix company. Their specialty, 6x6 front discharge mixer trucks that allows for better placement of concrete and ease of use. Midwest Ready Mix Equipment offers the highest quality of concrete products and aggregates, and also a full-service dealer for low-gun equipment featuring telehandlers, excavators, and ASV track skid loaders for purchase or rent. Midwest Ready Mix Equipment, East Highway 50, Vermillion.
So what do you see in your future? Buying the perfect home?
Machine in Beersford is your full-service quality John Deere dealer. From the latest John Deere combines and tractors to lawn equipment you can count on, Peterson Machine in Beersford will bring you the best value for your dollar, along with professional service and parts to keep you going. Check out the big selection of used equipment as well. Need a hard-working farm hand? Peterson Machine also carries a full line of Polaris ATVs and UTVs ready for the toughest jobs. No matter what the job, Polaris keeps you going. Check the full inventory at petersonmachine.com.
This time it's going to go to about the 25-yard line where Sawyer Donovan picks it up for the Chamberlain Cubs, able to return it back down to about the 36. So a pickup of 11 yards on the kickoff return. And we're back underway here in the first quarter as the Vermillion Tangers lead it over the Chamberlain Cubs 14-6, 3:12 remaining in this first quarter. So the Cubs able to get 1 play and a touchdown on their first possession. Last possession, their second, was an interception by Jeremy Crow at the 25-yard line. Solik, the quarterback, has scrambled around a lot and trying to aim for that home run ball each and every time. Twins to either side, shotgun formation for Solik. This time, he's just going to keep it, try to follow his blocks right up the middle. Does a good job of following the blocks, but doesn't necessarily keep his feet turning, and just going to get bottled up right at the line of scrimmage. Move the line forward for about a yard or 2. We'll give him 2 and bring it up 2nd down and 8, 2:53, and the clock ticking. Kind of interesting, both from the Chamberlain Cubs and the Vermillion Tangers running almost the exact same offense. Even, in fact, Solik, the quarterback, runs in and out every single time, just like Jack Kratz does, to receive the play from the head coaches. 2 wide receivers split to either side once again. Solik puts his line down. He's going to hand it off this time to Hutchmaker, and Hutchmaker bounces off a couple Whipley tacklers and past the 50-yard line and finally pushed out of bounds. And that's a big pickup for Noah Hutchmaker and the Chamberlain Cubs. It's just their second rushing play of the football game for the Chamberlain Cubs, and this time it breaks free. Something that head coach Tom O'Boyle gave so much praise to his defense, and our pregame conversation was wrapping up and finishing off plays that time. A couple whippy tacklers there, and nothing doing for the Vermillion Tangers, eventually just having to push Hutchmaker out of bounds. 1st and 10, ball at the 45, 2:26 first quarter. Twin split to either side. Solik back to pass, quickly looks over. He's got pressure in the backfield, breaks 2 tackles before he's finally wrapped up for the sack and taken down at the 48-yard line. But again, a couple more missed tackles by the Vermillion Tangers, including Jack Kratz, along with Nick Sorensen. We're both back there to wrap up the quarterback, but not able to finish it off. And you'd like to see much better from the linebacking crew when they had a free look at Solik. 2nd down and 13, ball at the 48, and the clock moving now at 1:50. Twin set once again. Solik is going to hand it off to Hutchmaker, and this time the Tangers wrap Hutchmaker right up at the knees. In on the tackle there was Sorensen, and made sure that Hutchmaker was going to go nowhere. Back to the line of scrimmage or so. Give him not even one. 3rd and 13, so no gain on the play. Ball at the 47. 1:20. 14-6. The Vermillion Tangers hold on to an 8-point lead over the Chamberlain Cubs. Solik shotgun formation once again. Twins to either side, as always. Solik back to pass, looking for that home run ball. Shoots it over to the far side, trying to get Hutchmaker out of the backfield, but not able to do so, and it will fall incomplete as it's just beyond the reach of Noah. And will now bring up 4th down and 13. A couple players running in and out for the Chamberlain Cubs, and we'll see if they decide to bring out the punt team or not. It looks like it will be, as going back to punt it away will be Peyton Hora. And back to return is Jeremy Crow for the Vermillion Tangers. Hora puts a big boot into it, bounces down about the 26-yard line, and they're just Tangers going to let it roll, continue to make its way down to about the 20 or so. Let's call it the 20, and it'll bring up 1st down and 10 for the Vermillion Tangers. 55 seconds remaining in this first quarter. It's 14-6. Tangers on top of the Chamberlain Cubs. All Vermillion Athletics presented by First Dakota National Bank. For all your banking needs, check out First Dakota National Bank in Vermillion. Tangers come out, and the Twins set to get this 3rd drive underway. Now 1 in motion. It's going to be a keeper by Kratz trying to find some space, and Kratz buries his way down to the 27-yard line, a pickup of about 6 yards. Bring up 2nd and 4. Vermillion has had a good first quarter, besides their second drive where it stalled and a couple penalties. In fact, a chop block on Jeremy Crow is what really put the Tangers in a hole. They were never able to recover from there. Even after a couple penalties on the Chamberlain Cubs, eventually they'd have to punt it away. Otherwise, a touchdown on their first possession and their 3rd possession. 15 seconds and ticking. This will probably be the last play of the first quarter. Underneath center is Kratz. 1 in motion. They're going to fake the jet sweep, but they're going to hand it off to Jeremy Crow as he pushes his legs past the 35 and down to the 36-yard line. A pickup of 7 yards, 1st down, and we see triple zeros on the Vermillion Medical Clinic scoreboard with the Vermillion Tangers on top after 1, 14-6. You're listening to Tanger Football on ESPN 1015 AM 1570 and online at kvtk.com. We're back in a minute with the second quarter.
An illness and need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care physician or provider at Sanford Health. Better health care starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Sanford Health. Health lives here.
Today, because the kids aren't getting any younger.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in South Dakota.
This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Getting set for the second quarter. Great to have you along back here on ESPN Radio and Vermillion Streaming. Great to be back on Vermillion Streaming. Took a couple of years off of that, or a little bit of confusion. Some games on Vermillion Streaming, some on another service. We have now done away with that. Everything back on Vermillion Streaming with the YouTube page. And a big thank you to our fine sponsors, including Todd's Electric, the Vermillion Federal Credit Union, and the Vermillion Medical Clinic for making this broadcast happen, along with our many other sponsors. As you hear throughout the broadcast tonight, wouldn't be possible to cover Vermillion athletics without them. We get set for the second quarter. Now, I'll change that, by the way, on the scoreboard here in just a moment. I knew I was forgetting to do something. Trying to run camera and radio all at the same time, I sometimes forget everything. Twins to either side. We're ready to go. One in motion this time is going to be Reese Profrock. Reese almost gets set. It's a bad snap. Kratz just has to pick it up in the backfield. He's just going to try to get back to the original line of scrimmage. No, I'm sorry. That was the new quarterback in. This time, Ty Hertz. And Hertz does a good job of getting darn near close back to the line of scrimmage as the snap was over to his left side. Had to pick it up off the green grass here in Chamberlain, and now it looks like Hertz does he have an equipment issue? I believe they might be saying either equipment or it might be blood. But it will be now Ty Hertz who will come out of the football game, and the original starting quarterback, Jack Kratz, is back in. They're looking at Ty Hertz along the far sideline, almost as he's had a helmet equipment issue and had to come out of the football game. As they take a look at that, he's still kind of messing with his helmet as well. Twins to either side. Now Reese Profrock is in motion, moving from far to near. It's a high snap, pulled down, a quick little throw over to the far wide receiver, trying to push the legs forward. Not much doing. A gain of 1, maybe 2 on the play. On the reception that time was Clayton Sorensen for the Vermillion Tangers, and Sorensen now comes up with his second reception of the ball game after he had one last week for a touchdown against the Sisseton Redmen. 14-6, 10:47, second quarter, 3rd and 9 for the Vermillion Tangers here on this 4th possession of the football game. 2 wide receivers split to the near side, 2 off to the far side. That balance set. Shotgun formation. It's going to be Kratz. Looks to pass right away. Finds his wide receiver over along the far sideline. That's Reese Profrock. No, I'm sorry. That once again is Clayton Sorensen. Sorensen, though, not going to be enough for a first down. Brings up a 4th down and about 3 yards. Manageable for the Tangers, and they'll look to go for it. A little bit of confusion, and now it looks like head coach Tom O'Boyle wants to discuss this with his team as the Tangers not quite at the 50-yard line, at the 44. We'll step aside and take the timeout with them. You're listening to Tanger Football on ESPN and Vermillion Streaming. We're back in 30 seconds.
Electric Service with shops in Pierre and Vermillion. We offer a full spectrum of electrical services covering Central, North Central, and Southeast South Dakota. We are licensed, insured, and ready to work on your agricultural, commercial, or residential project. Need a quote? Give us a call. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power.
By the way, if you're curious, first quarter, 4:15 remaining. South Dakota and Kansas right now are tied. And if you would like to bounce around in the radio stations, you can hear that game with John Thayer currently on Classic Hits 106.3 and KVHTradio.com. Crazy to think about, a year ago, John Thayer was sitting next to me doing color as he didn't have USD to worry about. Back in action here. It's 4th down and 3. The Tangers are going to go for it. It's going to be a joint run together. And getting the first down, it was a shotgun formation. Jack Kratz, the quarterback, handed it to Jeremy Crow, and then they ran the football together straight forward. And it basically, if one side collapsed, the other would have taken the football. But they picked up enough for a first down and ran into a pile after a gain of 5 yards and just easily went down. I would say give that run in the official stat book to Jack Kratz. But nonetheless, it works out. 1st down 10, ball at the 47. This time, we're going to see 2 running backs in the backfield for the first time tonight for the Vermillion Tanagers. 2 split to the near side. Sorensen, the lone wide receiver, to the far. And now we're going to get another timeout from head coach O'Boyle. And I believe that's going to be his 3rd and final timeout. So we'll step aside and take the timeout with them. You're listening to Tanger Football, presented by First Dakota National Bank on ESPN 101.5 AM 1570 and online at kvtk.com. We're back in 30 seconds.
We're a little bit different here at Vermillion Federal Credit Union. See, unlike banks, we're a member-owned not-for-profit institution, meaning members like you are the owners, and the profits are returned through better fees and lower rates.
Hey, you, down in front.
And since our members are our owners, we exist to serve you and make sure that you're as comfortable as possible here. So come on in and act like you own the place, because you do.
Open your free checking account today. Vermillion Federal Credit Union.
First down and 10. Ball at the 47-yard line. Vermillion leads it by 8. 9:16 here in the second quarter. Once again, same formation. This time it's going to be the triple option and finally give the give to Sheffield. Sheffield down to the 40. It continues to get ripped out of bounds by a horse collar. No call there, but there is a penalty back here at the 50-yard line, and it was thrown after Sheffield had run past his blockers, so you almost have to imagine it's going to be on the Vermillion Tanagers. A discussion right now between officials, and Chamberlain is saying it's on Vermillion. Zoom in here on the official. As again, tonight's officials haven't given a lot of clear calls, but they are moving the football back quickly for the Vermillion Tanagers. So after a big pickup on the triple option for the first time tonight, it's going to be bit by the bullet. And we'll see what the call is. It's holding on the Vermillion Tanagers. So move the ball from the 47 back down to the 38-yard line. It'll bring up 1st and 19 for Vermillion. But a great triple option that eventually Jack Kratz held on to it at the very last second. Exactly what you want your quarterback to do. And then was able to pitch it out to Sheffield, who found some space, but in the end, a holding brings it back. Again, 1st and 19, 9:07. Once again, we see the double quarterback, the triple option. Once again this time, it's sniffed out perfectly by the Chamberlain Cubs and let Sheffield go nowhere. Again, that triple option, it's a fake right away to Jeremy Crow. They have that option to give to Crow if they would like to. Kratz looks at what the defense is giving. He decided to keep it this time. Then he saw pressure collapsing on him. Quickly pitched out to Sheffield, running to the near side of the field. He ran out of real estate. 2 Cubs collapse in. And it's a pickup of nothing and bring up now 2nd down and 19 for the Vermillion Tangers. Ball at the 37, 8:30 and ticking here in the first half. 2 wide receivers to the far side. 2 running backs in the backfield. This time it's going to be a handoff to Jeremy Crow. This time it's a design handoff, and Crow's got some space past midfield. Crow is outrunning one and finally ripped down from behind by Ty Gracer. But it's a big pickup of Jeremy Crow down to the 29-yard line and a 1st down and 10. It's the double running backs once again on either side, but this was a designed handoff to Jeremy Crow, who bounced it to the outside after some running lanes opened up by his offensive line, and a big pickup for the Vermillion Tanagers. They say that Crow slid forward a little bit, so they're going to back it up to the 32. 1st down and 10 for the Vermillion Tanagers. Once again, we see the dual running backs with 2 wide receivers split to the far side. This time it's going to be a fake to Jeremy Crow. Jack Kratz keeps it himself, and the Chamberlain Cubs are starting to overcommit on Jeremy Crow. And this time, Jack Kratz sees that and is able to bounce it down to the 25-yard line. A pickup of about 8 yards. And will bring up second down and 2, excuse me. 7:08, second quarter. Vermillion 14, the Chamberlain Cubs 6. Jeremy Crow, the running back to the left. Sheffield, the running back to the right. 2 wide receivers split to the far side. Now Kratz wants to throw it. He's going to go over to the far side, and it's going to be dropped. An open look there from Clayton Sorensen, and started to turn his body downfield before fully hanging on to the football, and lets it slip through again. It's a third drop pass now that we've seen from the Vermillion Tangers. 3rd down and 3, 6:53, second quarter. Vermillion on top of the Chamberlain Cubs. Back to Twins, split to either side. Crow, the running back, to the left of Jack Kratz. Kratz holds on to it for a moment. Now is going to hand it off to Jeremy Crow, and Crow past the 20 inside the red zone and finally tripped up at the 15-yard line. A big pickup of 9 yards and another first down for the Vermillion Tangers. A great job by Kratz, and he fakes the pass on that play so well. He stood in the pocket for a full second, maybe even 2, before he handed it off to Crow, and by that time the defense couldn't adjust. 6:20, clock continues to move. Twins to either side. Kratz shotgun formation, looking to pass right away again. Over the far side, Profrock gets a 1 block, turns the corner past the 10, and tripped up from behind. But a great pitch and catch by the Vermillion Tangers as they're just finding those quick little outlet passes. Pickup of 8 yards. And again, the Vermillion Tangers inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line, trying to add to their lead. 2 wide receivers split to the far side, 2 to the near side. Shotgun formation for Jack Kratz. Kratz takes the helmet high snap. He's going to fake the handoff, finally give it to Crow. Kratz ran into the pile with Jeremy Crow before he finally just kind of made sure it was tucked into Crow's belly. Crow able to pick up the first down, give him a gain of about 2-3 yards, gets down to the 4-yard line. So it'll be 1st and goal for the Vermillion Tangers. Now, Tanger fans, if they bounce it over to the left side, we might get cut off just a little bit by the angle of the camera and the window that we're facing out of. 2 wide receivers split to the far side. Shotgun formation for Kratz. Fakes the handoff to Crow. Kratz easily walks in for a Vermillion touchdown. The fake handoff, and Kratz saw pay dirt from there and said, "Thank you very much. I'll take the 6." And the Vermillion Tangers add to their lead. They now lead it 20-6 over the Chamberlain Cubs as they'll stay on to attempt the 2-point conversion. 5:03 remaining first half. Kratz gets the call from head coach Tom O'Boyle. The Tangers will come out splitting 3 wide receivers to the right side. A lone wide receiver is over to this left, just out of the camera angle. Shotgun formation for Kratz. Takes the snap, it slips through his fingertips. He has to go back chasing after it, and it's going to be just dove on by the Chamberlain Cubs as Kratz just tried to scoop it up, not able to do so. It's a 2-point conversion. No harm, no foul there. They just don't get the 2 points. But Vermillion Tangers, they hold on to a 14-point lead, 20-6, with 5:03 remaining in the first half. We'll step aside. We're back in 60 seconds as you're listening to Vermillion Football, presented by First Dakota National Bank on ESPN, along with Vermillion Streaming.
Vermillion Medical Clinic has an ongoing mission to provide areas with quality health care and convenient access to medical professionals. Our patients at Vermillion Medical Clinic value our dedicated primary care physicians, compassionate PAs, and consistently scheduled outreach specialty care. If you have health questions, need a screening, or have medical concerns for yourself or family members, call us for an appointment or visit VermillionMedicalClinic.com. So much care, so close to home.
Peterson Machine.
Customize your washer for any load and wash the way you want. Industry-first innovation and design lets you remove the agitator to wash a bulky load that needs more space and easily swap it back in whenever you want. It's twice the wash action options and twice the washer you have at home.
Find this and other Whirlpool and Maytag appliances at Merce Appliance in Vermillion.
Full inventory at PetersonMachine.com.
The ensuing kickoff is taken down to about the 35-yard line, and that is where the Chamberlain Cubs will set up first down and 10, trying to set up something with 4:56 remaining in this first half, trailing by 14 points. It's the first possession, first play for the Chamberlain Cubs on offense. They hit a home run ball. Their offense has been steady, but in the end has stalled out ever since. With plenty of time yet remaining in this first half, we'll love to do something here. Twin split to either side. Solik now will put one in motion. The sophomore quarterback is going to hand it off, trying to stretch it all the way over to this near side. Hutchmaker avoids one and then just kind of dips out of bounds himself. And it's going to be a loss of a couple yards. And now, slowly to get up, I think we have someone injured on the sidelines that is out of play. It was not a player that was in the game of action for the Chamberlain Cubs. In fact, it might have even been a fan. I don't even think was a player. It might have just been a fan who got in the way, but able to get back up on his own power. And we're good to go. A gain of maybe one. Second down and 10. Ball at the 36-yard line. 20-6. The Vermillion Tangers lead it by 14 points. 4:50 here remaining in the first half. This time the Chamberlain Cubs will break huddle. Split wide receivers off to either side once again. And now Hutmacher, along with Cruz Solik, are having a conversation, finally trying to sort everything out. Solik, the sophomore quarterback, takes the belt high snap, a quick little pass, and it's going to be completed to his wide receiver about the 37-yard line. There on the reception this time was, I believe, Sawyer Donovan. By the way, just into the second quarter, it's still scoreless in Lawrence, Kansas, between the Kansas Jayhawks and the University of South Dakota. 4:07, third down and 7. Tangers with a 14-point lead. Two wide receivers split to the near side and to the far side. It's the basic twin package. Back to pass is Solik. He's just going to throw one up in the air, and it's going to go right to Sheffield. Intercepted, and Sheffield up the near sideline. Still going on his feet. Makes one miss. A flag is down, but it's Sheffield who just had the lame duck go right to him, and then the Chamberlain Cubs weren't ready. And Sheffield makes a couple miss and is able to return it all the way down inside the red zone to about the 17-yard line. We do see a banana peel on the field of play as well. It looks like this one might be on the Vermillion Tangers once again. We'll wait for the official call on the official. They're going to say no, face mask on the Chamberlain Cubs, so add a few extra yards for the Vermillion Tangers, and they're going to be set up inside the red zone as they're back with the football. 3:45 here remaining in the first half. Tangers leading it 20-6 and looking to add to their lead over the Chamberlain Cubs. It's the second interception of the night for Cruz Solik. That's last week against the Millbank Bulldogs. Jack Kratz will finally run in the play, as right now I'm watching the camera, finally breaking huddle. They were about 20 yards away from the football, but they're now up to it and ready to go. So again, first down and 10, mark the ball at the official 12-yard line. One in motion is Reese Profrock. Kratz in shotgun formation. Fakes the handoff, he's going to keep it himself. Kratz makes one miss, makes two miss, and Jack Kratz is in for another touchdown. His third rushing touchdown of the night. And the Vermillion Tangers now extend their lead to 20. It's 26-6 over the Chamberlain Cubs. Jack Kratz fakes the handoff to Jeremy Crow, makes one miss right in the middle of the pile, bounced it out to the right side. The defensive back had no chance as Kratz made the second juke move and into pay dirt once again. 3:38 remaining in this first half. The Tangers will go for two. Three wide receivers split to the far side. Kratz scrambles that way, throws over, and it's going to be caught for the two-point conversion by Ty Hertz this time. And Vermillion leads it over the Chamberlain Cubs 28-6, 3:38 remaining in the first half. This is Tanger Football presented by First Dakota National Bank on ESPN, along with KVTK.com and Vermillion Streaming. We're back in 60 seconds.
Pump and Pack told me to keep this video simple, so I don't need to tell you about the great selections on drinks. You probably already know he has a South Dakota DMV Now kiosk to renew your license plates. Snacks, too many of those to even mention. Oh, and when you fill up at Pump and Pack, Kevin gives a portion of the money back to a charity. I guess I really don't know what to talk about. Simple enough. Pump and Pack in Vermillion.
Watching high school.
Perfect night of sleep can be found with Slumberland's Sleep Solutions Center. Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, and Sealy all feature. Don't lose another night of sleep. Stop by Slumberland of Yankton. Looking to update the family room? Look no further than Yankton Slumberland, Lazy Boy, Flex Steel Furniture, and more. All at your hometown furniture store. That's Slumberland of Yankton.
Back here on the ensuing kickoff as the Chamberlain Cubs are able to get a good return past the 30 and eventually pushed out about the 34-yard line. 3:31, second quarter. The Chamberlain Cubs in the passing game have been going for the home run ball. It worked out on the very first play. Ever since then, it has been covered nicely by the Vermillion Tangers, including two interceptions from Sheffield along with Jeremy Crow. And a good return last time by Sheffield, and last offensive possession for the Chamberlain Cubs got Vermillion inside the red zone. And on one play, Jack Kratz adds another 6 points. And that's how the Tangers with a two-point conversion lead it 28-6 as we're back in action. Twin split to either side. This time Solik is just going to keep it himself, try to follow his blocks. Bounce it out past the 35-yard line and finally push out. Ooh, and Sheffield is going to wrap up Solik well out of bounds. And now some extracurricular happening inside the Chamberlain sidelines. And a penalty flag has already been thrown. This is going to go against the Vermillion Tangers in Sheffield, as it was Solik who was well out of bounds, and all of a sudden they're going to call it a horse collar. Could have even made it called unsportsmanlike conduct. But again, a horse collar is what they say after Sheffield ripped Solik down out of bounds. So they're going to wait, reset it here, and move the ball after picking up a nice 9 yards. Move it another 15. So past the 50 and spot it down at the 45-yard line. 3:23. Second quarter, 28-6. Vermillion Tangers with a 22-point lead on the Vermillion Medical Clinic scoreboard over the Chamberlain Cubs. Twin set, as always, for Chamberlain. Shotgun formation, Solik right at the 50-yard line. This time he's going to hand it off to his Hutchmacher, the running back. He hits the line of scrimmage, bounces backwards, and then jets himself over to the left side and able to find some green grass and pick up 12 yards and a first down. Vermillion kicking themselves on that play as they had Hutchmacher in the backfield and bottled up, and all of a sudden he bounced off a couple of his own players, including some reaching arms of the Tangers, and picks up a nice first down for the Chamberlain Cubs. 2:51 and the clock moving, remaining in this first half. Twins to either side, stacked this time for Chamberlain. Solik fakes the handoff, going to keep it himself, trying to outrun Fairholm. He's able to do so down the 30, and finally is going to get tripped up out of bounds about the 23-yard line. And another 10-yard pickup for the Chamberlain Cubs. And they have something moving quickly down the field against the Vermillion Tangers here in this second quarter with 2:38 remaining. By the way, quick check-in. Still 0-0 between South Dakota and Kansas. 11:38 remaining in the first half there. Officials are together. Did I miss a penalty? It looks like I did miss something. We'll see what the call is. And it looks like it's going to be a sideline warning. And that's probably why I missed it, as there wasn't actually a penalty flag that was thrown on the field. Should just be a sideline warning. They will give it to it. Fix it. Move the chains is what we were waiting on. And we're ready to go once again. Ball at the 23-yard line. First down and 10 for the Chamberlain Cubs. Trying to strike back against the Vermillion Tangers, who have added 20 unanswered points. It's going to be a jet sweep and a late flag. In fact, that play was already in progress before we heard whistles and a flag thrown. Official call on the field is going to be false start on the Chamberlain Cubs. Move it back 5 yards, bring up first down and 15. But again, that play was well underway before we heard whistles and even the penalty flag being thrown. 2:36, second quarter. Again, it's been 20 unanswered points by the Vermillion Tangers. They lead it on the Vermillion Medical Clinic scoreboard, 28-6. Two wide receivers doubled up on the near side. Split to the far left. Solik, shotgun formation, standing at his 34. Back to pass. He's going to throw it just deep downfield, and the closest one there was Jeremy Crow, and it falls incomplete. As he was, again, we make that mention, looking for the home run ball, but this time threw it to either his guy was going to get it or nobody, and his guy didn't even know what play it was. Second down and 15. Does stop the clock for a moment as well. Chamberlain Cubs able to huddle. Now they break. Same formation as the last play. As Noah Hutmacher will be the running back, split to the left side. Solik is going to hand it off now to Noah. Noah had some space, but a reaching hand from the grave of Nick Sorensen tripped him up. It's a gain of a yard, maybe two. And again, Sorensen was on the ground as he tried to find the blitzing spot and got hit, knocked over, but just reached out his arm. As I say, gets the shoelace tackle. But Noah looked like he was about to find some room. And in the end, give Sorensen the credit for the tackle. Third down and 14. Ball at the 27. Twin set once again. Solik shotgun formation, looking to pass. He wants to go over, pressure in his face, steps up in the pocket, and he's going to go down. He spent too long in there and is finally taken down. This time, in on the sack is Carter Skolsberg. And it's a big sack for the Vermillion Tangers after the Chamberlain Cubs had something moving. A sack will move them all the way back to the 33-yard line. And will now bring up 4th and 21 with 1:20 and the clock continuing to move remaining in this first half. Tanger fans, stick around. We're going to have a couple special guests who have made the trip to Chamberlain, and they're going to be joining us on the Vermillion Booster halftime show. 4th down and forever, and now a false start is going to move it even further backwards for the Chamberlain Cubs with 1:07 remaining in this first half. It's been a good performance from the Vermillion Tangers so far. And they're looking to hold the Chamberlain Cubs out of the end zone right before halftime. And now it looks like the Cubs are going to rush on the punt team and are going to try to play the position game because of 4th down and 22. They will want to just try to pin Vermillion deep and make them run out the clock themselves. Jeremy Crow back deep to return. It's Peyton Hora who will punt it away. He's going to get a big boot into this. Jeremy Crow will field it. He's got space in front of him at the 8, trying to bounce it off to the right side, but he's going to be wrapped up quickly by a couple of Cubs down to the 15-yard line. So Vermillion Tangers need to go 85 yards in 57 seconds if they want to score again right before half. They can do so. We'll see, though, what head coach Tom O'Boyle will run out. Might as well take a shot. The Tangers, though, by the way, have no timeouts remaining. So if they get the ball moving, they're going to have to move quickly down the field and either spike it or get set and run another play. It's going to be in tight with 2 tight ends this time for the Vermillion Tangers. Kratz in shotgun formation is going to hand it off to Jeremy Crow. Crow tries to jump over a couple of his linemen that fell to the ground and doesn't make the best of jump. He gains a yard, maybe 2, and the clock is just going to run. You can't blame head coach Tom O'Boyle feeling good about going into the halftime locker room with a 22-point lead. Kratz takes his time running the play. Tangers break the huddle. They're going to put wide receiver to either side. 2 tight ends in. Crow right next to Kratz and shotgun formation. They hand off to Crow. Crow has some space. He's going to bounce it past the 25 and down to the 27-yard line. Pick up a first down. And now does Vermillion want to try to go quickly? And we'll stop the clock for just a moment to move the chains. 11 seconds remain, and no. Vermillion is not going to do anything with it, and they'll go into halftime with the 22-point lead as it's 28-6. The Vermillion Tangers on top. Coming up here on the Vermillion Booster halftime show, we're going to be joined with a couple guests here in Chamberlain. That's on the way here in 3 minutes as you're listening to Vermillion Football, presented by First Dakota National Bank on ESPN 1015 AM 1570, online at kvtk.com. Along with Vermillion Streaming, we're back in 3 minutes with the Vermillion Booster halftime show.
When did your dream home become just that? A dream. Why? Well, it's time to make it a reality with AMS Building Systems. Locally owned and operated in Vermillion, AMS can make that vision in your head a reality. From the first steps of designing to the last screw, your dream is closer than you think. Check out amsbuilding.com or stop by, because the first step to your dream is in Vermillion. Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment is your locally owned and operated.
Tangers are great at flying out of the way to miss your car. Deer and other drivers are not. If you're in any kind of accident, bring your vehicle to Blaine's Body Shop in Vermillion. We repair your vehicle to pre-accident condition and handle the entire process from start to finish, including an accurate estimate and dealing with the insurance adjuster. So good luck to the Tangers, and if you're in an accident, bring your vehicle to
Blaine's Body Shop. Blaine's Body Shop. Automotive collision repair.
Need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you
Need a new set of tires? Look to Carlson's Body Shop in Beersford. How about some accessories like WeatherTech floor mats, Access roll-up truck covers, bed liners, remote car starters, and thousands of other products. Hey, you can look at everything at your convenience online too at carlsonsbodyshop.com. No wonder the song says,
Bring it down to Carlson's Body Shop, your complete car care center.
Free interior design service is still my favorite.
Whether you're in the market to purchase a new home, or your family is growing and you need to sell your existing home, or you're a student moving to an apartment, Dakota Realty and Property Management has home listings for families as well as apartments. Being locally owned and with over 150 years of combined experience, they have the connections to find the home that will fit you. Go to Dakota Realty and Property Management at 125 East Cherry Street, Vermillion, because they like what they do and they will work for you. Dakota Realty is a proud supporter of Vermillion Athletics.
or provider at Sanford Health. Better healthcare starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Find your primary care physician or provider at sanfordhealth.org today.
High
Hy-Vee makes grocery shopping easy with Hy-Vee Aisles Online. Just order online, schedule a pickup or delivery time, then leave the shopping to us. Download the new Hy-Vee Aisles Online app or go to HyVeeAislesOnline.com. It's easy to create and save grocery lists, shop the sales, and get fuel savers. Plus, with Hy-Vee Aisles Online, pickup is free on orders over $30, and delivery is free with the membership. Save time. Shop online with Hy-Vee Aisles Online.
It's the Vermillion Booster halftime show here on ESPN 1015 AM 1570 and online at kvtk.com, along with our Vermillion streaming, as we're at halftime right now as the Vermillion Tangers on top of the Chamberlain Cubs 28-6. Vermillion struck right away on their first offense possession. Chamberlain answered back on their very first play of offense, making it 8-6. But since then, Vermillion has added 20 unanswered points, and that's how we get to our halftime lead right now for the Vermillion Tangers. And as I mentioned, this is the Vermillion Booster halftime show. I mentioned going into this halftime that we'd have some special guests joining us, and right away, let's get straight into that. That is the president of the Booster Club, Mr. Keith Gestring. Mr. Gestring, thanks for being on. Did you enjoy the trip up to Chamberlain tonight?
Yeah, so far.
I'd say it's been a good performance from the Vermillion Tangers. What have you thought of the first half so far?
It's a lot different game than last week.
Yeah.
Vermillion seemed to open up their offense quite a bit than compared to last week.
Yep, I say getting back into more of that running and passing game that head coach Tom O'Boyle wants to go to, that he says so often that he wants to run a balanced attack. And we saw with Sisseton last week, it was just run, run, run. But that's what the Red Men gave him, and it ended up working out. Nonetheless, we're here to talk about the Booster Club. I know you guys just had your Booster Bash a couple of Fridays ago and are now getting ready for the next events, including T-Week that is coming up. First, let's go back. What has the Booster Club all been involved so far this past summer and getting ready for this new year?
Well, as you mentioned, we just finished up with our Booster Bash, and that's our big membership drive. And prior to that, we were working with the school on funding for the improvements to the practice football field. And they got that done in June. And we're able to practice on it yet this fall. So that's really helped out.
That has helped out a lot. How did those all come together? When you talk about funds, how does that happen when it comes to supporting the Vermillion Boosters?
We get the majority of our funding from our members, both the individuals and also the Vermillion businesses.
How now, if we want to join, because I know you're always looking for new members with the Vermillion Booster Club, how does that happen? Who do we need to contact if we want to be a part of the Booster Club?
You can contact any of the boosters, or the other is we have a presence out on social media. We've got a Facebook page, and we also have a website. And you can link to us off the Vermillion School site too.
And you do still have the clothing drive going as well too, right?
We have an online clothing store.
That's great to see then.
And then also you'll see that clothing at the concession stand during volleyball and basketball games.
That's one great way to support the Vermillion Booster Club. We're bringing our next guest as well here, Dave Hertz, as he's been a big part of this Vermillion Booster Club throughout the past couple of years. I know he's trying to take a little bit more of a back seat and just kind of focus on what he has with his normal job with Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment. But Dave, something else that was exciting, in fact, I passed the bus on the way here to Chamberlain, and that was you were able to basically, I don't want to say paint the bus, but
yeah, we just wrapped the bus.
Yeah.
I took it up to Pride Neon, and it was an all-white school bus. We kind of wanted to do, something a little different. So it was an all-white, looks just like an old yellow school bus, but it's white, and we put chrome wheels on it, and then we put the Tanager logo on it, and they really did a nice job. And the boosters paid for all that and took care of that, and then now they got a little mini bus too that they wrapped, and with the Tanager logo and stuff.
How are you always coming up? Because you seem to be coming up with ideas all the time for the Vermillion Booster Club. Where do those come from?
Well, I don't know. You just roll with it, Just try to come up with some stuff to do and go for it, And Jim Peterson laid a really good foundation for this whole Booster Club when he kind of came on board and got stuff rolling, and we're just trying to keep it going. And we've had a lot of improvements out there. The coach, I went out and talked to Coach O'Boyle the other day on the field, on the practice field. And it's phenomenal because we have a nice crown practice field with new sod on it, and there's no gophers in that thing, and it's nice and soft to play on. Because if we wouldn't have had irrigation this year, as dry as it was, I mean, those boys would be banged up all day long in practice.
Yeah.
So it really, and we're doing the soccer field this fall too after the season.
How would we donate to that project?
You can just call up the booster club, call the superintendent, probably be the easiest thing. Get a hold of Huska too, and Nicole Mockler. She came on board this year, and a big hats off to her because she puts a lot of time into keeping the books and keeping track of all the money. And that's a big job, and Nicole does a great job, and I would have anybody talk to her because she's got her stuff going on with the Booster Club.
Tea Week next week, a whole bunch of celebration. As Coach Culver says, it's for the civilians. Where's your presence going to be with the Vermillion Booster Club?
I bought a big flag. I think I don't know how big it is. It's like 10 by 15 or 10 by 20. And hopefully we're not going to be super busy with ready mix because I want to put my pump truck up in the air 100 feet in the air and then hang my flag from there. That big, I got a big USD one and I got a big Tanager one. So I'll be doing the support that way.
I'll say it'll be a lot of fun. And the parade is at 1 o'clock on Friday. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, I think so. Is the parade 1 o'clock on Friday?
1 or 1:30, I'd say. We'll have to look into the further details.
I'm not sure on all the details on that, but it'll be fun to have a big home opener. Get everybody to come out, support the Booster Club, support the Tanagers, support the whole Vermillion School District. We got a good thing going on here, and we need some more motivation. Keep it going.
Yeah, and we're going to keep that going throughout this season as well. We'll catch up with you guys throughout the next upcoming weeks as well. Always look to what's happening with the Vermillion Booster. Mr. Hertz, Mr. Gestring, I appreciate it both. We'll catch up with you guys here in a couple weeks, all right?
All right, go Tanagers.
There he is, Dave Hertz here, last time on the mic, as we are in the Vermillion Booster halftime show. Vermillion Tangers lead it at halftime 28-6. We're going to step aside for 3 minutes, and when we come back, we'll set you for the second half between Vermillion and the Chamberlain Cubs. That's on the way here on ESPN 1015 AM 1570, around the world at kvtk.com, and Vermillion streaming. We're back in 3 minutes.
Considering a new roof, you want to put your roof in the hands of Dave's Roofing. Dave's Roofing specializes in residential roofing and has over 10 years of experience. Dave's Roofing covers any job from a 60 to 80 mile radius of Sioux City and has a 10-man crew that completes most jobs in one day. Dave's Roofing will make sure the cleanup job is done right afterwards too. And the products installed are impact rated and eligible for homeowners insurance discounts. Look up Dave's Roofing on Facebook and check out the work that's been done in customer DIC.
Think about your home. What do you see? Do you see just 2 stories or the stories of your toddler's first steps? Now think about your car. Do you see an odometer reading or your kids reading in the back seat? Other insurance companies see just a house. They just see a car. But a State Farm agent sees what your home and your car really mean to you. So why not give them the protection they deserve? Call State Farm agent Dick Sunday in Vermillion, 605-624-3392.
Vermillion football is back once again, and whether you are heading out for an away game.
State purpose of visit.
Well, our tractor's going to kick the bucket this year.
Searching internet for new bucket.
I don't need a bucket.
Provide bucket color preference. Red, yellow, taupe, magenta. Oh, wait. They are out of magenta.
Robots don't know you. We do.
I can do a quote on a new one.
With us, getting the right coverage starts with a conversation. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Contact Farm Bureau Agent Debbie Profrock in Vermillion at 605-624-3011.
That has been together for 10 years. Dave's Roofing does replace
Most new systems today, it's important to remember to maintain the warranty. You need to show proof of service. Things that you can expect from Larry's Heating and Cooling Comfort Care Club are prompt, timely service, 2 maintenances, and respect. If you ever have an issue, from Lennox to Carrier and everything in between, we're there for you. For any inquiries about our pricing, feel free to call us at 1-800-491-9461. Anytime, any day.
Mention is to get an athletic scholarship. They know that only 2% of all high school athletes are awarded a sports scholarship. So why do they play?
My reason why is friendship.
Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the
NFHS and the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
Hi, I'm Bruce Kalin from Kalin's Indoor Comfort. This year is a huge milestone for us. 100 years in business. Wow. Back in 1921, my grandfather Jacob started the business, and then my father Sid. For 100 years, we have made it our mission to help thousands of homeowners with their heating and cooling projects. We consider our customers part of the Kalin's family and look forward to the next 100 years. When you want comfort, you want Kalin's.
Welcome back to the Vermillion Booster Halftime Show. I'm Heath Nimke. It's great to have you along on ESPN, along with our Vermillion streaming service as well. A big thank you for your patience as well this evening, as it has been a little bit different. Someone slacked off and missed the first week of the season. And then this week, we do not have a camera person. I'm trying to run radio operations as well. A little bit different of a setup in Chamberlain, trying to run the camera, so I apologize if there have been any mistakes this evening. All I ask is that you just give me a little bit of a break, and hopefully things officially go back to normal next week for us as we get ready to celebrate T-Week. As we are at halftime between the Vermillion Tangers and the Chamberlain Cubs at halftime, already here on the Vermillion Booster Halftime Show, caught up with the president, Keith Gestring, along with Dave Hertz, and he gave so much, both of them, so much mention to the Vermillion Boosters and how everyone is helping out. And we want to say a big thank you to the Vermillion Boosters as they do an amazing work with the Vermillion Tangers and making what they do possible. These, from equipment to, as Dave Hertz mentioned, the bus being wrapped, it just makes everything better for the Vermillion Tangers, a little bit more of a comfortable ride as well, and shows off that Tanger pride. And something to be proud of as well. At halftime, the Vermillion Tangers lead it 28-6. By the way, if you're a big Coyotes fan as well, go Yotes. And so far, nothing in that game. In fact, the Kansas and the University of South Dakota still knotted at 0 apiece, I believe about halfway through the second quarter in Lawrence, Kansas. As both teams have gone through the warm-ups as the final seconds tick away here at the Vermillion Booster Halftime Show. Have to check quick, are they going to add another 3 minutes back on? Because they did not. They went just strictly 15 minutes, and there's my answer. They usually get 15 minutes on the clock, and then put another 3 back on for stretching once again, even though both teams just went through the stretching process, which is no problem. It gives me a chance to grab my phone here, hit the refresh button, and let's take a look at scores from around the state. As I mentioned at halftime right now, Vermillion leads it 28-6 over the Chamberlain Cubs. And other action from Class 11A, West Central on top of Belle-Fourche, 39-7. Bennett County is over Lakota Tech, 20-0 at halftime. Lennox leads it over Custer, 21-0. It's all Madison over Dakota Valley, 26-7. Sioux Falls Christian on top of Millbank, 25-0 at halftime. Also on top of Sisseton, 40-0. And Tri-Valley currently leads it over the number 1 team in Class 11A, 10-7 over Canton. Now Vermillion will see Tri-Valley, Canton, Del Rapids, along with Madison, Dakota Valley coming up later on this season. And there's some more quick score updates from Class 11AA. It's Spearfish leading it over Huron, 20-7. It's all Brookings on top of Douglas, 42-0. At halftime, it's Pierre, 21, Mitchell, 7. With 1 minute remaining in the first quarter, the second quarter, it's T area on top of Sturgis Brown, 44-0, and also at halftime, it's Aberdeen Central on top of Yankton, 21-14. And one final score already from tonight in Class 11 AAA. Sioux Falls, Washington beat Rapid City Central, 62-14. In 9AA, Elkton Lake Benton beat Arlington Lake Preston, 12-6. Final from earlier, Bonhomme beat Stanley County, 21-18. Florence Henry took down Frederick area, 44-0. Hamilton's on top of Castlewood, 12-6. Howard's on top of Kennesaw Freeman, 33-6 at halftime. 11 minutes into the second quarter, it's Lemon McIntosh on top of Newell, 12-0. And other scores closer to home, it's Chester area that's beating Viborg Hurley 24-0. And also Hanson is beaten up on Irene Wakanda 30-0. And that's a quick look at scores from around the state, as this has been the Vermillion Booster halftime show on ESPN along with Vermillion Streaming. The Tangers are set to take the field once again. Now they got the football to open up the first half, so they'll be kicking off to the Chamberlain Cubs, who have not scored since their first play of the football game on a home run ball that the defense broke down. And it was talking to head coach Tom O'Boyle, not in our pregame show, but on the field, just going over a couple quick things. He said, the guys seem quiet tonight. That makes me slightly nervous. Well, that first play went for a touchdown, but ever since, the Vermillion defense has settled in. And a good performance from the Chamberlain Cubs as well, a team that made the move up to Class 11A this year. And it's been kind of that talk. Chamberlain probably wasn't quite ready to make that jump, but of course, class sizes, they do so. And a lot of younger guys are playing tonight and are going to continue to grow over the next couple of years. We're ready to go, and we are set for the third quarter. Vermillion in their all-white uniforms, numbers and letters that are in red. As the hand goes up, and we get set for the second half kickoff. It's going to be a kick end over end all the way down to about the 20-yard line. And it's caught by the Chamberlain Cubs, returned down to about the 32 before everybody in on the action. And it's a dog pile out of bounds about the 32-yard line. And the Chamberlain Cubs will take over 1st and 10. As we mentioned, Cruz Solik, the sophomore quarterback, came into this game with 3 interceptions, all for pick sixes. Has had 2 interceptions so far tonight, but has continued to work his way through. And it's good to see that sophomore quarterback continue to gain experience week in and week out. Speaking of Solik, he's going to be in shotgun formations, twins to either side, 1st down and 10, ball at the 32-yard line. He's going to hand it off to Noah. Noah's just going to follow some blocks right up the middle. Nate Fairholm in on the tackle, along with Mr. Sorensen. I think Sorensen might be in on every tackle unless Chamberlain throws the football. It's a pickup of a yard or so, 2nd down and 9. By the way, talking so much about Cruz Solik. Talk about a lot of Vermillion Tangers over these past couple of years, including Nick Sorensen. He's been playing since he was a sophomore, and he just has grown up right in front of our eyes and has done such a nice job for the Vermillion Tangers over the last 3 years, playing the linebacker position on defense. 2nd down, 9, a quick little swing pass out to the 30, and jumping all over it this time is Sheffield. He's pumped up as it's going to be right back to the line of scrimmage, and in fact, a loss of about 1 yard. So now 3rd down and 10 on the quick swing pass that Sheffield was all over it. Kai Sheffield already has that interception as well tonight. Sheffield, a new name for the Vermillion Tangers. He comes in as the 6', 170 junior. 12:30, third quarter, 28-6 for Vermillion Tangers on top of the Chamberlain Cubs. Twin split to either side. So look back to pass. He's pressured. He's going to try to step up and scramble, trying to get past one. Tries to run over and kind of does so over Jeremy Crow. But as he runs over Jeremy Crow, trips up himself, give a gain of 2, maybe 3 yards. It will bring up 4th down and 8. And the Chamberlain Cubs are going to have to punt it away on their first possession of the second half. So a great stand by the Vermillion Tanger defense on the first offense possession of the Chamberlain Cubs. Again, back to punt away will be Peyton Hora. And standing at the 40-yard line outside of camera view is Jeremy Crow. And as the snap comes in, the banana peel flies. Looks like it's going to be a false start on the Chamberlain Cubs. Yes, moving back another 5 yards. The ball has been spotted at the 34. That 5-yard penalty will move it back down to the 29-yard line, and now make it 4th down and 13. But nonetheless, the Chamberlain Cubs are still going to punt it away here. Try to get a quick update from Lawrence, Kansas as well for you, as my page loads up. Continue to take its time. Still 0-0. Under a minute now remaining in the first half between Kansas and USD. Punt in the air. It's going to be a fair catch at the 48-yard line. That's where Vermillion Tangers will set up 1st and 10. 2 yards to cross the 50. But again, a great performance from the Yotes so far. Just need some touchdowns now. If you're out driving about, you can switch it back and forth. Hear the voice of the couch, John Thayer. They're currently on Classic Hits 106.3 and online at kvhtradio.com is where you can hear that game that is currently going on. 28-6 here. 9:28, 3rd quarter. Vermillion Tangers, 2 split to either side. Now 1 in motion. Kratz is going to fake the handoff and keep it himself. Pass the 50. Kratz still moving on his feet. Pass the 40. Kratz jukes out 1. Pass the 30. Now he's going to try to face a tackle himself. And he's going to get ushered out of bounds about the 20-yard line or so. A pickup of 30 yards. And Vermillion Tangers not quite inside the red zone. Spot the football at the 22, but the quarterback, Jack Kratz, has had a phenomenal game on that read option, and just this time holds it again, makes a couple guys miss, and picks up a big 1st down. Twin split to either side. Now Reese Profrock is going to be in motion. It's going to be a handoff this time to Crow. Crow follows his blocks right in the middle. Now Crow fumbles it. Crow fumbles the football, and the Chamberlain Cubs hop on top of it at the 15-yard line. Crow had a little bit of space, and all of a sudden, a reaching Cub hand came in and punched it loose from Jeremy Crow's grasp, and the Cubs able to hop on top of it at the 15-yard line. So Vermillion just 2 plays before their first turnover of the football game. 9-12, 3rd quarter. Spotted, actually I think they're going to call it the 19-yard line or so for the Chamberlain Cubs. 1st down 10, twins to either side. Hand it off to Noah Hutmacher, and Hutmacher breaks 1 and tries to break the 2nd shoelace tackle. Not able to do so. Gets up to about the 27-yard line or so. A pickup of 8 yards and bring up now 2nd down and 2. Chamberlain Cubs have had a mixed bag tonight when it comes to the running game. At times it's looked good, and it should be something they should be running a little bit more than at others. Vermillion defense has been bringing the blitz package and sniffing it out in the backfield. Plus clock now against the Chamberlain Cubs. 28-6 as Vermillion holds that 22-point lead. Try to run the read option, and now Solik is in trouble, just trying to scramble around. He has nowhere to go. And I have mentioned, that's called the commentator's curse. The mixed bag in the running game. Solik just trying to make something happen his own, and in the end, loses out almost back to the original line of scrimmage. A loss of 7 on the play, and now brings up 3rd down and 9. Cruz Solik, though, will continue to work through over the years. Again, just a sophomore quarterback, and a pretty tall sophomore quarterback as well, standing in at 6'3". He makes a little bit more growth. He's going to be someone to watch here in the next couple of years. Twins to either side. Shotgun formation for Cruz. He's back to pass. A quick little pass over to the far side. It slips through Donovan's hands and goes past Jeremy Crow, who was there along with Zone Robinson. Neither one able to put their mitts on it, and falls incomplete. Will now bring up 4th down and 9. Ball at the 20-yard line, and the Chamberlain Cubs, after the Jeremy Crow fumble, will come up empty-handed and will have to punt it away once again as Crow ushers his way back to the 50-yard line, currently standing. Back to punt for the 3rd time this evening is Peyton Hora. Each of his punts have been clean and good so far tonight. The Cubs get set. Hora takes a beautiful snap, put one up in the air, comes down. It's going to take a bounce right in front of Crow. He'll grab it at the 48 and then just quickly scoot out of bounds, and then a penalty flag that's right there on the sideline. Did Crow call for a fair catch and then pick it up and take off and run? Officials having a conversation. Nonetheless, Vermillion will take over. 1st down and 10. just depending on where they will spot the football. It will be on the Vermillion Tangers, so move it back across the 50-yard line. 7:33, third quarter. Officials, again, all night tonight have been taking their time and relaying the calls to each other. Again, this is going to be, it looks like, an illegal play on Jeremy Crow after they say he did call for the fair catch and then grabbed it and took off and run. So move the football back. They're going to spot it at the 50-yard line. They're still discussing. It shouldn't be at the 50. They got to move it back the penalty yardage yet. It's going to say Crow picked it up at the 50, move it back 5 yards, and finally spot it at the 45. And now we're ready to go. First down and 10. Ball at the 45 for the Vermillion Tangers. Wide receiver to either side. Crow is the running back. Jack Kratz, the quarterback. One in motion. Back to pass quickly. It's right over to Robinson. Catches it at the 49 and quickly moves his way out of bounds as he crosses over the 50 down to the 47-yard line. A pickup of 8 yards. And now bring up second down and 2 for the Vermillion Tangers. Again, in the third quarter, 7-10 remaining with the Vermillion Tangers on top by 22 points. It's been 20 unanswered points by Vermillion. A late breakout by Sheffield as he'll be the second wide receiver, split to the near side, 2 to the far side. Now Sheffield will be in motion. Kratz takes the snap, quickly looks over to Robinson once again. Robinson makes one miss, makes a second one miss, and he's finally wrapped up from behind. So Robinson showing off the juke moves as he makes 2 Cubs miss. Wrestle down at the 35-yard line. It's back-to-back, same plays for the Vermillion Tangers. Just a quick dump off to Robinson running the Crow route for 3 yards, then making men miss. Getting it down to the 35, first down and 10. So Tangers taking what they can get, and we mentioned at halftime as well, wanting to get back to more balanced and the run and passing game. And head coach Tom O'Boyle has done exactly that. Sheffield will now move in motion. Back to pass once again. No, it's going to be a late handoff to Jeremy Crow. Crow up the middle. Past the 25. Crow keeps his feet moving and finally wrestled down at the 23-yard line. You know, I never got to our trivia question of the night, so here is your trivia question from Coach Gary Culver. When was the last time, what year was the last time that the Vermillion Tangers won back-to-back football games? That's your trivia question of the night. 28-6 right now. Vermillion is looking to snap that streak here. So they're on top of the Chamberlain Cubs. Twin split to either side. There's a couple wide receivers outside of the picture frame. This time it's going to be a handoff, though, to Jeremy Crow. And Crow just continues to usher his way forward down past the 20-yard line. It should be a couple of yards. Bring up, looks like third down and 5 for the Vermillion Tangers. Oh, no, that was second down and 6 is what they call it. Ball at the 19-yard line. Wide receiver off to the left side, 2 split to the right, and also now bringing in the tight end package for the Tangers. Kratz in shotgun formation. He's going to hand off once again to Jeremy Crow, and the Cubs were waiting for Crow. He gets met in the backfield. That is a loss of a couple. Any guesses on that trivia question of the night? When was the last time Vermillion Tangers won back-to-back football games? Have to go back, in fact, to the year that I graduated high school. 2014 is the last time Vermillion Tangers won back-to-back football games, and right now have a good opportunity to finally snap that streak. Twins to either side. Now one in motion. Sprint to the near side. Back to pass is Kratz. He pumps fakes. Now he's going to take off. Now finally throws down the field, and it's going to hit the ground right in front of Reese Profrock and be incomplete. for the Vermillion Tangers, and that will bring up now 4th down and 6. Ball at the 20-yard line, so right at the red zone mark. Might as well go for it. Have nothing to lose at this point. Head coach O'Boyle given the hand to chin thinking. Now will walk away with his back to the players. Now turns back around, crosses his hands. That's the play on Coach O'Boyle. One in motion. Now put trips to the far side. It's going to be Kratz who fakes the handoff and then just runs forward. He will not pick up enough for a first down. There's an illegal motion as well. The flag will be waved off, and it's going to be a turnover on downs for the Vermillion Tangers. So in the end, it's going to be, like I said, turnover on downs. Give it back to the Chamberlain Cubs. Again, 3:47, third quarter. Big thanks to all of our sponsors for making this broadcast happen. It's great to be back as well, calling Vermillion High School Athletics. And it's going to be a road trip warrior mentality here for the next few weeks. We're back home for Tea Week to celebrate homecoming before the Tangers find themselves on the road the next following 3 weeks before, during the cold time of high school football, we find ourselves in the spacious and warm Dakota Dome. 3:47, first down and 10. The Twins set. It's a low snap, and Solik is going to have to pick it up on the ground. A couple of Tangers rush in there trying to hop on top of it as well, but Cruz Solik easily gets back there on the low snap. So a big loss on the play for the Chamberlain Cubs. In fact, a loss of 6-7 yards. Second down and 17. Moves the ball all the way back to the 13-yard line. After we saw some quick points in the first quarter, then just kind of steady points by the Vermillion Tangers in the second, we have yet to see anybody cross the goal line here in this third quarter. Twin split to either side once again for the Chamberlain Cubs. Cruz takes the shoulder snap, throws it over on the quick swing pass, and Vermillion Tangers have given that up all night, but have covered it up nicely. This time the pass goes for a gain of 3, maybe 4 yards, and bring up third down and 11, so a pickup of actually 7 yards on the play instead. Still a long third down for the Chamberlain Cubs. Have to get something here, otherwise it's going to be the punt team for the third time in this third quarter. Two wide receivers split far to the far left side. Cruz, shotgun formation. He's back to pass. He has pressure. Steps up now in the pocket. Cruz is going to get hit at the knees and taken down at the 29-yard line. It's going to be close to a first down. They have yet to call it if it's a first down or not. They continue to look at it. And yes, the white hat says it is enough. So Solik was looking for the home run ball, saw nothing, decided to step up in the pocket, took what was in front of him, is able to pick up 11 yards and just enough for a Chamberlain Cubs first down. 2:05 on the Vermillion Medical Clinic scoreboard and ticking. Same package that we've seen all night. Solik at the hash mark. Takes the belt snap. Will now hand it off to Hutchmacher, and he has nowhere to go as Fairholm in there on the tackle, along with Jack Kratz and Nick Sorensen. Get used to hearing those names on defense throughout the season. Nick Sorensen and Jack Kratz, that's exactly what you want from your linebackers, though. Just watch where that football is going, and wherever you need to be, make the play happen. And those two have been doing that for the past 3 years now in those exact positions. That's experience that's going to help the Vermillion Tangers throughout the season. Second down, it's going to be a direct snap, and it's going to be Solik who keeps himself, bounces off about 5 different tacklers as nobody wrapped up Cruz Solik. And Solik is able to get a big gain on second down and 12, pick up 11 yards again, and bring up now third down. We'll call it third down in inches as they're right there at the chains. And the clock continues to roll, now under 60 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Solik shotgun formation on third and inches. And they're going to get the Vermillion Tangers to jump off sides. Nick Sorensen, the blitzing linebacker, came around the left side, and also, more importantly, and he's going to hear it later on, he might even hear it the next minute or so, Nate Fairholm, the man right over the football this time, jumps off sides as well. I'll give a first down to the Chamberlain Cubs with 45 seconds remaining in this third quarter. The Cubs start at their own 20-yard line. Now got it to the 44. Wide receivers split to either side. Shotgun formation once again for Solik standing at the 40. He's going to keep it himself. He bounces it to the near side, trying to get a block, and he's going to be wrapped up from behind and gets tackled awkwardly, falling on his head, but he bounces up quickly, getting him just past the 50-yard line, and that will be the last 15 seconds ticking away on the clock as the Vermillion Tangers will head to the fourth quarter still with that 22-point lead. It's 28-6. The Vermillion Tangers on top of the Chamberlain Cubs. You're listening to Tanger Football presented by First Dakota National Bank on ESPN 101.5 AM 1570, KVTK.com, along with Vermillion Streaming. We're back in 60 seconds.
Midwest Ready Mix Equipment is your locally owned and operated ready mix company. Their specialty, 6x6 front discharge mixer trucks that allows for better placement of concrete and ease of use. Midwest Ready Mix Equipment offers the highest quality of concrete products and aggregates, and also a full-service dealer for low-gun equipment featuring telehandlers, excavators, and ASB track skid loaders for purchase or rent. Midwest Ready Mix Equipment, East Highway 50, Vermillion.
Todd's Electric, your full-service electrical contracting company. Todd's Electric services residential, commercial, agricultural, and industrial customers. From the simple service call to the most complex design building project, Todd's Electric has the expertise to do it right. Todd's Electric, helping you control all things electric, except for lightning. Todd's Electric. Go Tangers.
12 minutes are put on the clock, and that's all that remains from Vermillion. Starting their season 2-0 under new head coach Tom O'Boyle as they lead it over the Chamberlain Cubs 28-6. As the Cubs will take the field, second down and 2, ball at the 48-yard line as they've just crossed over the 50. We'll wait on the official's whistle to get us underway. Here we go. Two wide receivers split to either side for the Chamberlain Cubs. It's a low snap. Solik picks up, and then it's a quick little pass over to Hutchmacher, who came out of the backfield. And Hutchmacher able to get close to the first down marker. They're going to mark him just short, so a reception of about a yard or so, and brings up now third down in inches for the Chamberlain Cubs. The Cubs want to make a comeback. One thing that does have to be quicker is their play calling. And Solik, the quarterback, is the one who's running plays in and out each time. After about a good 20 seconds wasted, Cubs ready to go once again. And this time it's going to be Solik who's just going to take it straight up the middle, and the pile keeps moving forward. He picked up enough for a first down. It looked like the play was going to stall out for a moment, and then just kept turning his legs, able to get down to the 42-yard line, and another first down for the Chamberlain Cubs. So a sustained drive as this one started back at the 20-yard line for Chamberlain, but has just continued to move the football. 28-6 on the Vermillion Medical Clinic scoreboard. We have not seen any points since the first half. Solik, shotgun formation once again. This time he's going to hand it off to Hutchmacher. Hutchmacher ran into his own guys on the right side, bounced it over to the left, and is able to pick up 3 or 4, and then a late penalty flag comes in as well, as there was some extracurricular at the numbers on the far side, and also some cramping, I believe. Cramping right now. It's not Jack Kratz. It was Kratz who got up a little bit late, but right now, again, dealing with some cramping. That looks like it's Nate Fairholm who's going to have his leg worked on here quickly. Again, also the penalty flag as we await the official call. It looks like it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on the Chamberlain Cubs or the Vermillion Tangers. Again, unsportsmanlike conduct that will go against Chamberlain. We'll move the football backwards as well. And it will remain first down. Move the ball back past the 50-yard line and spot it at the 45. Let's move the camera to the 45. I'll keep you going on what's happening. And it looks like Nate Fairholm, this is not a comfortable cramp as it's still not getting worked out for him. Not a hot night here in Chamberlain, but Fairholm is one of those guys that continues to play both sides of the football. So even if it's a cool night, eventually you're going to get tired and cramps are going to eventually happen. And it doesn't get any easier. This kind of atmosphere may be slightly cooler than what would be felt inside the Dakota Dome here in Chamberlain. Otherwise, for September 3rd, this is what you would call a perfect Friday night weather. Again, Fairholm is going to be helped up finally as he is walking underneath his own power there, as it was just a cramp in that left leg. He's going to come out for a little bit, but great to see him get up and walk off in that own power, and great to get that cramp worked out mostly. But he'll take a little bit more time to try to ease that out. And as we know, those leg cramps, never comfortable. So after the unsportsmanlike conduct, it's going to bring up second down and 23, ball at the 45-yard line for the Chamberlain Cubs. Solik back to pass. He's trying to find something, continues to keep his eyes downfield, and the pass is low and will fall incomplete. Trying to get it to his wide receiver out there. And this time that was out to number 6, Devin Anderson, but not able to come up with the completion. I believe last time I checked, and now I lost it, I believe Kansas leads it at halftime over USD 7-0. Let me reload up the page here. Yes, 7-0 at halftime. Kansas is on top of USD. 10:15 remaining in the ball game here. Vermillion on top of the Chamberlain Cubs, 28-6, and now a pass that's going to fall incomplete. Trying to work it over to the near side at the 40-yard line, but it falls just short. So the intended receiver this time was Ty Gracer. But Solik left it about 4 or 5 yards short for Gracer to come up with any play. So now on 4th down and 23, Chamberlain Cubs have a great drive that started at their own 20-yard line, marched it across the 50 down to eventually the 38 before an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty moved it back to where it's at currently. And in the end, the Chamberlain Cubs are going to come away with nothing and have to punt it away. Hora puts a nice boot into it as always. Crow comes up and catches it, trying to make his way. He's going to get past the 40, continues on his feet almost to the 50-yard line, taken down at the 49. A return of 18 yards for Jeremy Crow, and the Vermillion Tangers will be set up in great field possession here to start their first offensive possession of the 4th quarter. We'll see if we can't find you some scores from around the state of South Dakota as well. And if we can't find them for you in the 4th quarter, we'll have those coming up, a part of our First Dakota National Bank post-game show, and our corporate sponsor as well is First Dakota National Bank. For all your banking needs, make it First Dakota National Bank in Vermillion. Trips to the near side. Lone wide receiver Zone Robinson far out to the right. It's going to be Kratz who's just holding on to it. Now will shoot it over the middle into heavy coverage as Kratz looked like the play was broken down. Had plenty of time in the pocket, but in the end makes a risky pass, and he has to be lucky that falls incomplete. By the way, Nate Fairholm, who had that cramp, is already back out there playing on the offensive line. Vermillion Tangers, they can run plenty of guys in and out, but they stay true and faithful to about 8 to 9 different guys that will usually go 2 ways for Vermillion. Trips once again to the near side. This time it's going to be Sheffield in motion. He drops the football, picks it back up, then makes one miss. He's losing his grip now, but still keeps on his feet. He's still going and finally tripped up just past the 30-yard line. From nothing to something, and now I believe Sheffield is coming up with a cramp as well in his right foot. There is also a flag back down at the 41-yard line as the Tangers are seeing another cramp. Sheffield had nothing working as he dropped the handoff and then picked it up, made several guys miss, slipped a couple different times, keeping his balance. At one point, picked up a cramp during that run and still picks up a big play. But after a holding penalty, or excuse me, a block in the back penalty on the Vermillion Tangers, it's all going to be for nothing for Sheffield. And it's going to move it all the way past the 50. They're going to spot down at the 49-yard line. So redo second down. And in the end, after that play from Sheffield, it's a result with the penalty, a loss of 1. Or mark it down. They're going to actually move it forward nicely back to the original line of scrimmage. So let's pretend that play never happened besides Sheffield, who continues to remain down with both legs in the air, dealing with cramps. We just saw Nate Fairholm work through a cramp in his left leg. This time it's going to be Sheffield who's working through both. He has both legs extended up to heaven right now. As both teams have gone to their respective sidelines and gotten a drink. Sheffield continues to be worked on. Again, the score 28-6 on the Vermillion Medical Clinic scoreboard. While we have a chance, let's pull up some scores from around the state of South Dakota and look more specifically in Class A and see what's all going on. One game has gone final tonight. West Central beat Belle-Fourche 45-7. Another one that has gone final, Del Rapids didn't add any points in the second half, and they get the win over Sisseton 40-0. By the way, Canton has finally got back on top of Tri-Valley with 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, 21-16. Still at halftime, Sioux Falls Christian leads it over Millbank 25-0. Madison's on top of Dakota Valley 40-7 as they start the fourth quarter, and also Lennox on top of Custer 27-0. That's a quick look at scores and why we have one final chance. I don't believe they have started the second half yet. Last time checked at halftime, it was Kansas that was leading it over South Dakota 7-0. And yep, they're still at halftime there. So again, Kansas 7, USD nothing. Can catch that game after this right there on Classic Hits 106.3. Also listen online at kvhtradio.com. 9:46 remain fourth quarter. After the cramps worked out, we're ready to go once again. And this time it's going to be underneath center. Jack Kratz takes the snap, is going to pitch it out to Jeremy Crow. He's tackled from behind, and we're seeing about what? Now the 15th flag throwing. I believe this will be horse collar on the Chamberlain Cubs, as Crow did get tackled awkwardly from behind, and he kind of did a little play acting as well. Now they say it actually was his face mask and then a hand from behind that helped out as well. Unintentional though, so just a 5-yard penalty will move it up to about the 44-yard line. Be second down and 4 for the Vermillion Tangers. Again, that clock will continue to roll. Right now for Vermillion, that's all they have to let it do. Get out of here with the victory. Move to 2-0 under new head coach Tom O'Boyle. And get ready for T-Week, a big competition coming up next week against Madison. Twin set to either side, fake handoff. Jack Kratz is just going to pile his way right up the middle. He's going to be right there at the line of scrimmage, depending on where they spot it. It looks like that should be a first down. Now they're going to move it around. What do they say? They say it's just short by an inch or so. 8:48, fourth quarter. Jack Kratz will go underneath center. He's just going to run it right up the middle, and the pile easily pushes forward for a few yards and a first down for the Vermillion Tangers. Past the 40-yard line, mark it at the 37. Again on the Vermillion Medical Clinic scoreboard, 28-6, 8:24 with that clock rolling in the fourth quarter. Great to have you along here on Vermillion Streaming and also on ESPN Radio. As you've heard from our broadcast tonight, our wonderful sponsors, we want to give a big thank you to them for helping us do this broadcast once again. Kratz goes underneath center. Back to pass now, and he's going to look deep, and it's going to be caught by Zone Robinson and pushed out of bounds. Robinson had to come back as it was a little short, but makes the over-the-back catch against his defensive back and pushed out of bounds at the 23-yard line. A pickup of 13 yards. Another first down from the Vermillion Tangers. We'll continue to have our broadcast right here on Vermillion Streaming and ESPN Radio, always beginning at 6 o'clock with the pregame show and the kickoff at 7 o'clock each and every Friday. Two wide receivers split to the far side, two to the near side. Now one in motion. It's going to be Kratz who takes the snap, hand off to Jeremy Crow. Crow just follows his blockers right up the middle where that running lane has been all night tonight. Gets pushed down to the 20-yard line. Pick up of 4 yards. Second down and 6. Vermillion just going to continue to work that clock. As you can even see more and more taking their time, not in a hurry. Haven't really seen much of the second team yet this evening. Now in shotgun formation, one in motion. It's going to be Kratz who fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and gets down to about the 15-yard line or so. And it's going to be close to the first down marker. They're going to say it's third down in inches once again. Usually that means it'll be Jack Kratz who will just go underneath center and push it forward. And usually at this point, you'd want to see the Chamberlain Cubs on defense try to squeeze in at that center position and not let that happen. Because if it's a quarterback keeper, just follow your center, Will Fairholm up the middle every single time. It's been working out. Here he goes, Kratz once again, and just as I say, it works out simply for a pickup of about 3, maybe 4 yards. And now we have another Tanger that's slow to get up. And this time, it looks like, I believe it is Will Fairholm. I'm not for sure if this is cramping or if this is something else. As he is being attended to right now by trainer Amy, as Amy takes a knee right beside. We'll step aside here on the broadcast as the Vermillion Tangers, with 6:38 remaining in the fourth quarter, lead it over the Chamberlain Cubs 28-6. You're listening to Tanger Football, presented by First Dakota National Bank on ESPN and Vermillion Streaming. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Machine in Beersford is your full-service quality John Deere dealer. From the latest John Deere combines and tractors to lawn equipment you can count on, Peterson Machine in Beersford will bring you the best value for your dollar, along with professional service and parts to keep you going. Check out the big selection of used equipment as well. Need a hard-working farm hand? Peterson Machine also carries a full line of Polaris ATVs and UTVs ready for the toughest jobs. No matter what the job, Polaris keeps you going. Check the full inventory at petersonmachine.com.
I did not see Will Fairholm join the huddle with the Vermillion Tangers. I'm not quite for sure, as it's finally getting up. That is Will Fairholm, as this was not a cramping issue. This was something else, but he officially gets back to his feet. And he is going to be taken off the field. So Vermillion will have to go with a new center, and that can be scary, running with the new center. It's all about that exchange between center and quarterback, especially in shotgun, and it can be difficult to get it right sometimes when center and quarterback don't always play together. I missed the number, who that new center is. We get it here in just a moment, as it's going to be a handoff to Jeremy Crow, trying to push the pile forward, and then it's going to get pushed backwards. Gain of about 2, bring up 2nd down and 8. That's Royce Baylor, who is the new center, the 6'3" junior, 240 center, who comes in right now to replace the spot of Will Fairholm as he continues to be attended on the sideline. We hit the halfway mark of the 4th quarter. It's 28-6, a 22-point lead for the Vermillion Tangers. We have not seen points so far in this second half. Going back underneath center is Kratz. It's fumbled for a second between the exchange, and then Kratz tried to pitch it to Jeremy Crow. It's a bad pitch. The ball hits the ground, and it's a fumble for the Vermillion Tangers, and the Chamberlain Cubs get their 2nd turnover of the football game, both on fumbles tonight for the Vermillion Tangers. And after Vermillion able to get inside the red zone, come away with a turnover, and the Chamberlain Cubs will take over 1st down and 10, ball at their own 11-yard line, 5:42 remaining in the ball game. So this will be a time that Chamberlain looks like he'll probably just start airing the football out. They scored on their very first play of the game. They have not scored since. In fact, they have only been in the red zone once since then, and it came up empty-handed. And now a handoff, a couple missed tackles, and it's going to come back around. Where there's some space, and all of a sudden it's cut out quickly, but missing a couple more tackles. A lot of running around for the Chamberlain Cubs, but in the end, Ty Gracer goes about 40 yards, maybe even 60, back and forth, picks up maybe a yard or so. 2nd down and 9. Again, ran about 60 yards back and forth, but never cut it upfield. And a great job by Vermillion Tangers to make sure he wasn't able to completely reverse the field. He had some space, but a couple Tangers able to quickly contain Gracer to make sure he wasn't able to cut it upfield. 2nd down and 9. Sulek back to pass and quickly go over to the near sideline, and stepping out of bounds this time is Sawyer Donovan. Completes it for about 2, maybe 3 yards. And we'll bring up now 3rd down and 5. Ball at the 14-yard line with Donovan stepping out of bounds. It does stop the clock. 4:48 in the 4th quarter. Right now, Chamberlain Cubs have to pick up a 1st down. 3rd down and a long 5, and now some confusion, and a timeout is going to be called with the Chamberlain Cubs, and we'll step aside and take the timeout with them. You're listening to Vermillion Football, presented by First Dakota National Bank on ESPN and Vermillion Streaming. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
An illness to need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care physician or provider at Sanford Health. Better health care starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Sanford Health. Health lives here.
Let's protect it.
It's 3rd down and 5, but 4:48, 4th quarter. Great to have you along here on ESPN and our Vermillion Streaming as well. Again, a big thank you to our sponsors, and always looking to add more as well throughout the broadcasting season as we're just getting underway. We're going to have varsity boys and girls basketball coming up during the winter season, as well as every single football game here on Vermillion Streaming and ESPN. If you'd love to sponsor Vermillion Athletics, just get a hold of us at the radio station. We can get you squared away. On 3rd down, back to pass. Sulek looks over the middle. It's a pass too high, intended for his wide receiver at the 30-yard line. This time trying to get it out to Noah Hutmacher not able to come up with anything, falls incomplete. And again, the Chamberlain Cubs are going to have to punt it away. Heath, move the camera with it while you're at it. There we go. I feel like I've done a decent job. I feel like I've done better than what I expected I was going to do tonight. Also have our full broadcasting crew. One thing that has been faithful so far this evening is our studio engineer back in Yankton, South Dakota. That's Aaron Dodd, our studio engineer, who's going to be helping us out all season long. Much appreciated for his help. Hora punts it up in the air. It's going to take a Chamberlain bounce and roll down to about the 44-yard line or so, and Vermillion will set up in great territory, and we'll see if it'll be the second team that will come out or if it will remain the first team. It looks like the first team will remain out there. Again, it will be Royce Baylor, who will continue to take the snapping duties as well, as we have not seen Fairholm come back out. But love to see Royce Baylor out there. He looked good in those first couple of snaps as well. And that one fumble that came up with the empty possession for the Vermillion Tangers on their last offensive possession was more of Jack Kratz pulling away too soon and then a bad pitch to Jeremy Crow. Now shotgun formation, and that's a perfect snap right there. They're going to fake the handoff to Jeremy Crow, and Kratz breaks one tackle, stands up a second, and finally gets wrapped up from behind past the 34, taken down at the 33-yard line, a gain of 12 yards, and a first down for Vermillion. And once again, it's been that read option, and you just love to see what Jack Kratz, the first-year quarterback, even though he's a senior, just hold on to it, that read option so nicely. Wait till the defense collapses squarely on one guy and then either hand it off or keep it himself. That's why he's scampered for 3 touchdowns so far this evening. Back underneath center goes Kratz. One in motion. They're going to fake the pitch to the man in motion, and they're going to hand it off to Jeremy Crow. The man in motion that time, by the way, was Connor Larson. And Kratz used one hand to fake the pitch to him. Then with the other, the left hand, gave it to Crow. Crow finds about 3 yards up to the 30-yard line. We'll bring up now 2nd down and 7. 3:30, fourth quarter. And that clock just moving away. Vermillion going to win their 2nd consecutive football game for the first time since 2014. By the way, this is the 6th meeting between the two teams, and this is the first time Chamberlain has ever scored against the Vermillion Tangers, and it happened to be on the very first play. Shotgun formation for Kratz. He's going to keep it on the option, continues to hold on to it, finally flips it out to Jeremy Crow, but by the time he flipped it out, Chamberlain had collapsed down on it, and also Vermillion had ran out of space, and now the 3rd cramp of the night comes to the quarterback, Jack Kratz. And he looks like he's going to have his left leg worked on. So it's been cramps and injuries for the Vermillion Tangers here in this 4th quarter. And again, we mentioned what has been a perfect football night. I have a light jacket with me. I don't have it on currently, but if I was out there in the crowd, I would have it on. It doesn't get any better than this. So if you're at home watching, I would say you missed a great one. Now, I will not be saying that coming up later on this year. I'll be very thankful that we're in the Dakota Dome. Hit the reload button as well, see if you can't get a score from the Kansas-South Dakota game. And now head coach Tom O'Boyle wants a timeout. We'll step aside and take the timeout with them. Vermillion leads it 28-6, 2:46 remaining in the 4th quarter. We're back in 30 seconds on ESPN along with Vermillion Streaming.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in South Dakota.
This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Because the kids aren't getting any younger.
Once again, big thank you to our sponsors, including AMS Building Systems, as that's just recently opened by Nick Slattery, also taking over the Lumber Yard in Vermillion, all staying local. Great to see as we're back in action. This time it's going to be a quarterback keeper and up to the 20-yard line on the fake this time. And by the way, seeing a new quarterback for the first time, that is Sean Doan, who's in. The freshman is taking snaps right now. As the other quarterback that we've seen throughout this season as well in the first week was Ty Hertz. Not quite for sure why we're not seeing Hertz currently on the field. Nonetheless, two wide receivers split to either side, 2-13, and the clock is rolling. It's going to be a fake handoff, and Sean will keep it again, bouncing it out to about the 20-yard line before he's wrapped up tough and taken down. So now 2nd down and 8 yards for the Vermillion Tangers, and the way this is moving right now, they'll be able to run out the clock, and we'll get to the First Dakota National Bank post-game show. I will not have final stats for this evening. Usually I would, but again, since we're in camera tonight, stats were not an option. But we'll catch up with head coach Tom O'Boyle, go over this game, take a look at scores from around the state as well. Twins set to either side. This time a simple handoff to Jeremy Crow, who hesitated for a moment in the backfield, then just put his head down, tried to bully his way forward down to about the 15-yard line or so. They're going to give it to him at the 16, a gain of 3 yards, and bring up now 3rd down and 5 for the Vermillion Tangers. 1:08 and moving. Vermillion will try to probably milk it to about the 40 mark, take one final snap, and get out of here with the W. Twins either side. This time Sean will go underneath center. Hesitating. Trying to get him to jump off sides. Sean fumbles the snap a little bit, picks it up by his thigh, just tries the quarterback sneak after not containing the snap cleanly. Doesn't work out for much. A gain of nothing, actually. But it looks like it's going to be enough to run out the clock. And for the first time since 2014, the Vermillion Tangers are going to win back-to-back games. Is there enough time to round the clock, or are they going to say they need to take one more, it looks like? Maybe one more and just kind of see them go shotgun and hold on to it till it hits triple zeros. Or they might even take the penalty as well, or do they say it was enough? They did say it was enough. That will be game. They made sure they stayed in their huddle till it did hit triple zeros, and that's what the clock is at right now, and the final score reads Vermillion 28, Chamberlain Cubs 6, and Vermillion begins this season off to a perfect start at 2-0. They'll head to the center of the field and do their final high fives together. But again, the Vermillion Tangers off to a great start as they get back home next week for T-Week to take on the Madison Bulldogs. It's time for the First Dakota National Bank post-game show. What's coming up? Well, we'll have our conversation with head coach Tom O'Boyle, take a look at scores from around the state, and wrap up all of the action from this one as well. That's on the way here on ESPN 101.5 AM 1570, online at kvtk.com. Don't go anywhere. Vermillion Streaming is coming back for the post-game show.
Electric Service with shops in Pierre and Vermillion. We offer a full spectrum of electrical services covering Central, North Central, and Southeast South Dakota. We are licensed, insured, and ready to work on your agricultural, commercial, or residential project. Need a quote? Give us a call. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power.
Of details. Larry's Heating and Cooling, Kington and Vermillion.
Need a new set of tires? Look to Carlson's Body Shop in Beersford. How about some accessories like weather?
We're a little bit different here at Vermillion Federal Credit Union.
See, unlike banks, we're a member-owned not-for-profit institution, meaning members like you are the owners, and the profits are returned through better fees and lower rates.
Hey, you, down in front.
And since our members are our owners, we exist to serve you and make sure that you're as comfortable as possible here. So come on in and act like you own the place, because you do.
Open your free checking account today. Vermillion Federal Credit Union.
Being locally owned and with over 100.
Vermillion Medical Clinic has an ongoing mission to provide areas with quality health care and convenient access to medical professionals. Our patients at Vermillion Medical Clinic value our dedicated primary care physicians, compassionate PAs, and consistently scheduled outreach specialty care. If you have health questions, need a screening, or have medical concerns for yourself or family members, call us for an appointment or visit VermillionMedicalClinic.com. So much care, so close to home.
Dr. Kudera brings orthopedics and sports medicine care from Yankton to you. You can expect the highest level of care found in major cities and hospitals across the region right here at home. At the Vermillion Medical Clinic, you get so much care, so close to home.
This is the First Dakota National Bank postgame show here on ESPN 1015 AM 1570 and online at kvtk.com. It's about a 3-hour trip up to Chamberlain, and there's going to be nothing but cheers and smiles on the faces of Tanger fans and also the Tanger players. As tonight, Vermillion moves to 2-0 on their season, getting the win over Chamberlain 28-6. And in fact, at halftime, that was our score. We didn't see anyone cross the goal line in the second half, but that's all right. We'll take it as Vermillion fans continue to celebrate that victory. Last time checked, by the way, midway through the third quarter, it was still 7-0. The Kansas Jayhawks were leading over the South Dakota Coyotes. As I mentioned, this is the First Dakota National Bank postgame show. We're going to catch up with head coach Tom O'Boyle, yet he'll be on his way. But recapping this game tonight, it was the Vermillion Tangers who got off to a good start on their first offensive possession, were able to drive it down the field and score right away, get the 2-point conversion, and make it 8-0. But after the kickoff that went out of bounds, it was a 63-yard touchdown pass in the very first play for the Chamberlain Cubs. The extra point was blocked, and it made it 8-6. After that, Vermillion was able to put together steady drives on their third and fourth possession to add to their lead and make it 20-6. And late in the first half, able to add another touchdown on a Jack Kratz 12-yard scamper through Pater, making it, after the 2-point conversion, 28-6. And again, that was the Vermillion Booster halftime score. No one would score in the second half, but Vermillion able to put together things nicely at points in the second half. You could definitely tell there was a lot less pressure on the guys in that second half, not to maybe force things down the field. We did see a couple fumbles, though, in the second half from the Vermillion Tangers. One fumble on from Jeremy Crow, and then with that option, a pitch play that was never handled correctly by Jack Kratz. Last moment, tried to get it out to Jeremy Crow when he was being hit. Again, a fumble. Chamberlain Cubs were able to recover both of them, so that'll be something the Tangers will look to correct, but in the end, get the victory over the Chamberlain Cubs. Yet to come up here on the First Dakota National Bank postgame show, we'll take a look at scores from around the state of South Dakota, and also see if we can't catch up with head coach Tom O'Boyle and talk about going 2-0 to open up his coaching debut. That's all on the way here in 2 minutes, a part of the First Dakota National Bank postgame show on ESPN 1015 AM 1570, along with Vermillion Streaming.
When did your dream home become just that, a dream? Why? Well, it's time to make it a reality with AMS Building Systems. Locally owned and operated in Vermillion, AMS can make that vision in your head a reality, from the first steps of designing to the last screw. Your dream is closer than you think. Check out amsbuilding.com or stop by, because the first step to your dream is in Vermillion.
At PetersonMachine.com.
Football season is here, and you have everything you need for game.
Tanagers are great at flying out of the way to miss your car, deer, and other drivers are not. If you're in any kind of accident, bring your vehicle to Blaine's Body Shop in Vermillion. We repair your vehicle to pre-accident condition and handle the entire process from start to finish, including an accurate estimate and dealing with the insurance adjuster. So good luck to the Tanagers, and if you're in an accident, bring your vehicle to
Blaine's Body Shop. Blaine's Body Shop. Automotive collision repair.
Free. Check out the Fuller Digital Solutions live.
Need a new set of tires? Look to Carlson's Body Shop in Beersford. How about some accessories like WeatherTech floor mats, access roll-up truck covers, bed liners, remote car starters, and thousands of other products. Hey, you can look at everything at your convenience online too at carlsonsbodyshop.com. No wonder the song says,
Bring it down to Carlson's Body Shop, your complete car care center.
Bring your vehicle to Blaine's Body Shop in Vermillion. We repair your vehicle to pre-accident condition and handle the entire process from start to finish, including an accurate estimate and dealing with the insurance adjuster. So good luck to the Tanagers, and if you're in an accident, bring your vehicle to
Blaine's Body Shop. Blaine's Body Shop. Automotive collision repair.
Just as we come back after break from the First Dakota National Bank postgame show, it is the man himself getting off to the perfect start. It's head coach Tom O'Boyle. Coach O'Boyle, it's been since 2014 that Vermillion has won back-to-back football games. I know you came in with this coaching staff, what's been tagged as the good old boys, back together. You had a task that you knew you had to accomplish, that you wanted to accomplish. So far, that's been completed. How does it feel starting off 2-0?
Heath, I sure appreciate you mentioning that. These kids have worked very, very hard, and I'm very proud. They should be very proud of their accomplishments. And you know, it's awful close to the ball game, so I've still got plays going in and out of my mind. But very great effort. You know, our kids aren't perfect every play, and that's the one thing we're going to chase is perfection. So we're going to keep coaching hard, but we're getting closer. The second half was kind of tough. We didn't offensively do the things I thought we could do, and we had an awful lot of kids go down with cramps tonight. So obviously our hydration and what we're doing nutrition-wise, we'll have to figure out and do a better job with.
We're going to talk about those two things you just mentioned here in a moment, but let's go back to that first half where you're able to get in that first possession, score a touchdown, then the very first play for them, they score a touchdown. What broke down on that play for you? Because you said when we were talking out in the field that the guys just kind of seemed quiet tonight, and all of a sudden you were a little nervous. What happened on that play for them to score right away?
Well, first, Heath, I think key was the fact that we were able to convert our 2-point attempt. I think that was huge. So even getting punched in the mouth on their first snap, you know, we just had a case of stage fright where we had the right coverage. We knew what we kind of guessed what they would try to do and take shots. And unfortunately, we had a young man looking in the backfield instead of playing a receiver. And boy, when your eyes aren't in the right spot, bad things happen.
Yep. Yeah, and that certainly did. As you mentioned, you get punched right in the mouth, but you respond back. Consistent drives throughout that second quarter, able to stack up a nice lead going into halftime, 28-6. You also got back to balanced football. We saw that balance of run and pass. How big was that tonight?
Oh, I think, I love the fact that our kids are understanding that, we're going to try to take what a defense gives us. And I think by Chamberlain coming out and running a shell cover 2, we knew we'd have some room in front of us to catch and just throw the short hitch routes. And I thought Jack did a great job throwing the football. And for the most, we dropped, I think, 3 balls in the first half that might have made a different score going into half. But I think our kids picked it up, and we were good on third down. We converted 2 fourth downs. So with that, again, I just can't say enough about the great job our offensive line is doing. We can't be generous with the football at running back or quarterback and fumble it. But our O-line is the strength, and I think our D-line did a great job. And outside of giving up one big play, we certainly dominated the football game, I thought.
I know as a coach you're going to look back, and it's great to celebrate a victory, but as you mentioned, there's a lot going on through your mind, including that second half. You do not score. Some drives put together, a couple of fumbles as well. What do you think it was in that second half that you were able to sustain something but not finish?
Well, Chamberlain practices too, and they have good players. So you have to give credit to a defense as well. But when you turn the ball over and when you're generous with the football and possession wise, we did things that we kind of did. Our body language wasn't very good after we turned the ball over, and we kind of put our heads down. And even though I think Gary and the defense got us the ball back, we just never generated and finished anything. I was hoping that we could have more big plays of 20 yards and more and break them to the house. I thought Jack Kratz played a super game at quarterback. I thought he was the difference running behind the offensive line. Jeremy didn't have a great night, but I think, again, that's because Chamberlain practices, and I think they did a good job of defensing our first game film. And so, we'll go back to the table. We need to execute a lot better. We need to do things smoother and simply not put the ball on the ground for the opponent.
I call this a perfect night for football weather. And when you kind of imagine that, one thing that shouldn't be happening is cramping. We saw it 3 different times with some key players. What has to get corrected when you need those guys later on this season? So how do you make sure you fix nutrition and hydrate up now?
Well, and that's crazy because, we have a great trainer, and Amy Richardson even talked Wednesday night about hydration and what we should be doing and whatnot. I'm not too sure I'm wild about all these long leggings guys are wearing on, when it's 75 degrees out, and I think they're watching a little bit too much TV. So I think we'll take a look at that, but we certainly will change what we're drinking during the week, especially Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I think things get out of sight, out of mind, and kids go home, and I wish I had an answer to that. That was I was a little bit embarrassed that it looked like we are not in shape and way too much cramping.
Also, something maybe not to be happy about with the coach is a lot of penalty flags, especially in that second half as well, including a couple of unsportsmanlike conducts, extracurricular activity with pushing around. How do you get that correct and make sure the guys are just focusing on themselves and not worrying about the jawing going back and forth?
It's a constant thing. I think you just talk to kids about, keeping your mouth shut and playing. And I think the heat of the game, might be there. I think we got a unsportsmanlike for tackling a kid late, and I thought it was an aggressive play by our DB, so I'm not going to belittle him or get him. I thought he finished the play. It might have been close to the boundary. It's tough for us to see over there, but you can make a mountain out of those things and take some aggressiveness away from kids. But the mouth things, they will be corrected. And I assure you, we need to be a much better football team offensively if we feel like we can be 3-0.
Coach Tom O'Boyle joining us here on the First Dakota National Bank postgame show. It's going to be a tough battle going forth for these next 3 weeks, but finally back at home, getting ready for a Madison team. It's also T week, homecoming, a lot of celebration, a lot of fun. How do you make sure you keep the guys now focused on Madison and keep the heads on straight and try to move to 3-0 on the season?
That obviously you talk about it. Certainly, if a head high school football coach could predict how kids are going to be on homecoming week or all the festivities and tell kids to talk football, they'd write a book and wouldn't be doing what we do. So, I think the way we practice and what we do we certainly want the kids to have fun as well. But, tonight was the biggest football game they've ever played in. They're 2-0 for the first time in their careers. We talked about that. That's something to celebrate. Mm-hmm. So we are going to certainly work to have a plan and a scheme to move the 3-0 after Friday night.
Coach, you mentioned the word celebrate. You go do that for the next few hours. We'll refocus tomorrow and go get Madison, all right?
I sure appreciate it, Heath. Thank you very much.
There he is, head coach Tom O'Boyle, 2-0 to begin his coaching debut with the Vermillion Tangers. We'll step aside for 2 minutes here on the First Dakota National Bank postgame show and be back to wrap things up as we take a look at scores from around the state. That's on the way here on ESPN 101.5 AM 1570 and online at Vermillion Streaming.
Midwest Ready Mixing Equipment is your locally owned and operated ready mix company. Their specialty, 6x6 front discharge mixer trucks that allows for better placement of concrete and ease of use. Midwest Ready Mixing Equipment offers the highest quality of concrete products and aggregates, and also a full-service dealer for Logon equipment featuring telehandlers, excavators, and ASV track skid loaders for purchase or rent. Midwest Ready Mixing Equipment, East Highway 50, Vermillion.
You don't need an illness to need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care physician or provider at Sanford Health. Better health care starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Find your primary care physician or provider at sanfordhealth.org today.
I'm Jenny Bolig from the Yankton Slumberland. After over a decade of customer service in our store, helping my customers with our free interior design service is still my favorite part of my job. Not all customers feel confident designing their own room. Whether you need help measuring, matching up with new paint or carpet, or have remodeled or built new, we are here to help you understand how to arrange and purchase for your room. Enjoy free design service at the Yankton Slumberland, 2401 Broadway. It's a good life.
You don't need an illness to need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care physician or provider at Sanford Health. Better health care starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Find your primary care physician or provider at sanfordhealth.org today.
Back on the First Dakota National Bank post-game show on ESPN 101.5 AM 1570 and online at kvtk.com. I want to thank you if you're still joining us here on ESPN Radio, along with our Vermillion streaming services as well, as this was a fun ball game, and the first time since 2014, the Vermillion Tangers have won back-to-back games. As I mentioned, 2-0 on the season. Head coach Tom O'Boyle, as he was walking out of here, had the biggest smile on his face. He's excited for the boys. And again, this is just going to be, give them the next 24 hours or so to celebrate this victory. And then, as he mentioned, try to get them as focused as it possibly can be. It's definitely going to be an exciting time around Vermillion next week. Not only is it Tea Week, but a lot of extra activities going on in the town. And also, USD has their home opener against Northern Arizona. So a lot's going to be going on in Vermillion next week. Look forward to bringing you the broadcast right here on ESPN 101.5 AM 1570 and Vermillion streaming as well. Did hear about the couple glitches with our video. We'll continue to work on that. That just comes down to internet, but there's always solutions. We'll make sure we get that corrected for next week back inside the Dakota Dome. And also, I'll apologize if I fell behind on any video feed for tonight, as well, as this was a little bit different of a situation, doing radio in video camera at the same time. So if I fell behind during the broadcast, I apologize for that as well. All right, let's take a quick look at scores from around the state of South Dakota. We're just going to go through AAA and keep on going, as only one score was reported from there. Sioux Falls, Washington beat Rapid City Central 62-14. In fact, I should be more specific. Only one score was reported because that was the only game that happened in AAA. In AA, Hurons on top of Spearfish 34-9 with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Final in Douglas tonight. Brookings gets the win 42-0. Pierre on top of Mitchell 35-13 into the fourth quarter. Final once again, T gets the win over Sturgis Brown 52-0. T now is 2-0, jumping up to AA. Of course, they were playing 11A ball last year. Another game currently going on is Aberdeen Central is on top of, tied for rank number 1, Yankton, 40-28. They're halfway through the fourth quarter. In Class 11A, games that have gone final tonight. West Central gets the win over Belfouche, 45-7. It was Lennox who downed Custer, 33-14. Madison gets the win over Dakota Valley in big fashion, 46-13. Again, Madison comes into the game 2-0 as well for T-Week. Del Rapids the win over Sisseton, 40-0, and there's also Canton, who held on to beat Tri-Valley 21-16. Canton is coming up for the Vermillion Tangers on the road in a couple of weeks. Start of the fourth quarter at Sioux Falls Christian on top of Millbank, 32-0. And also 5 minutes left in the third quarter. It's Bennett County on top of Lakota Tech, 28-0. In Class B, it's St. Thomas More on top of Hot Springs, 7-0. In other action, it's Rapid City Christian who leads it over Hill City, 28-0. In games that have gone final tonight, it was Redfield who beat Clark Willow Lake 19-14. Also, Bridgewater Emory Ethan gets the win over Parker, 44-6. Dual beats Mobridge Pollock 3-0, if that's a true final score. Also, Winner gets the win over Mount Vernon Plankinton 28-0. It was Sioux Valley on top of Baltic 60-6, and also Elk Point Jefferson down Flandreau 55-6. And scores from 9AA, it was Elkton Lake Benton who got the win early this afternoon over Arlington Lake Preston 12-6. Also, Bonhomme beat Stanley County 21-18 at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Florence Henry beat Frederick area 44-0. Hamilton gets the win over Castlewood in 9AA 26-20. Another action currently going on, it's Howard on top of Canastota Freeman 59-28. Game gone just final. Garrettson beat Parkston 35-20. Also, Chester area beat Viborg Hurley 38-0. And Hanson down Irene Wakanda 48-0. A couple other scores on final tonight. It was Wolsey Wessington beating Coleman Egan 50-6. Centerville beat Cologne 50-0. Also, North Central took down Waverly South Shore 50-0. Also, Gregory beat Burke 34-6. And it's Great Plains Lutheran who gets the win over Langford area 30-14. And a couple scores, if we can find them, from Class 9B. Gayville Vollen gets the win over Alcester Hudson 32-24. And that one, and as mentioned, I didn't mention this one. This is Avon beat Del Rapids St. Mary 48-14. And that's a look at scores from around the state of South Dakota. Scores from the state of Kansas. Let's re-update this and see if I haven't missed anything in the past couple of minutes. Last time checked, it was Kansas on top of USD 10-7, and it remains that way as well with 36 seconds remaining in the third quarter. South Dakota does have the football, but again, the score right now is 10-7. As we wrap up this broadcast, you can now head over to Classic Hits 106.3 and KVHTradio.com. My color commentator last year, John Thayer, and now a couple-year voice of the Coyotes, has that coverage currently on Classic Hits, so tune on over there, and let's see if we can't root the Yotes to a victory in Lawrence, Kansas. T-Week is this next upcoming week. We're going to have a good time with it. Pre-game show back here next Friday, 6 o'clock, with the kickoff set for 7 o'clock on Vermillion Streaming, and of course ESPN 101.5 AM 1570. I'm Heath Nimke. Big thanks to Aaron Dodd back in the studios. Until next Friday, have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening.
It's me, Heath Nimke, one last time as we wrap up this broadcast of Vermillion Tanger Athletics. We thank our Vermillion sponsors.
What's up, Aaron?
What's up, Aaron? Corporate sponsor, First Dakota National Bank and the South Dakota Activities Association for making this broadcast possible. Next time you need to do business, make sure it's with one of our Vermillion sponsors because they are invested back into Vermillion High School and into the community. We'll catch you back here